Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today, we've got quite a lot to do, I guess. We really want to play some Mutton, because we haven't actually played a ton of Rush on stream lately. We keep, doing a lot of talking, we keep doing a lot of, commentating. We haven't actually played a lot, right? So we're going to be doing that at some point today. That is the plan. We also need to update the tier list. I want to put out a new tier list video tomorrow, since it has been... what is it, 2.5 weeks? Coming up to 3 weeks? Or actually, I think it's been actually 3 weeks now since the meta first came out. But it has been 2 weeks since we last put out a tier list video, which was our first impressions of the meta. Now we want to kind of go over it again and see where we are at. But how is everyone in chat doing today? Let's see who we have here. We have Mr. Bad Time. It's a good day when the tomato comes out to play. Exactly. We have Ursus in the chat. We have Grand Harrier. She is not as cute as a button. Wow. Shots fired. First from Sakadetsu. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Gunkan Suship Shari is here with the hoo. We have a 3 stream streak from Mr. Bad Time. Do you reckon we'll be getting another Rush anime? Yes. I would be shocked if we weren't getting it. Next Rush anime is called Nine Rush. It's set in Germany and introduces negates as a new mechanic. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? We have the Dr. Alex in chat, who is quoting the... God, what's it even called? Flavor text, that's the word. And now it's becoming apparently some sort of copy-pasta with the Rio as well. We have Waltz here. Can't hang out for the stream, but I saw you going live. Hope you have a good stream. Cheers. Well, thank you for stopping by anyway, Waltz. We do appreciate you stopping and saying hello. What's Miss Mutton? Who even knows, Manicus? Who even knows? She's not on the tier list, so I have no idea who she is. We have Icy Gamers in the chat. Good morning. Hello, Icy. Welcome on in. We'll give you an exclamation mark, Icy, because we do have that. Do we have the exclamation mark Grand? Because it's Grand here as well. We do have that as well. Look at that. They're like shout-outs, except we can spam them. So, welcome in, everyone. I don't really know where to start today, to be honest. Do we just jump into some games? Or should we go over, the chitty chat bit first? Because on one part, it kind of messes with the flow to, start playing and then stop and then start again. But at the same time, it's I kind of just want to play. Which I think is a good feeling to have. But let's hop on over to Duel Links either way. So we were actually playing in a point battle today. We've been playing a lot in the Japanese point battles whenever we can. Because the guy who is a YouTuber called Nanao, he runs daily point battles that start, for me, at around between 10 a.m. and 12 a.m. Depending on the day. And then as you play through those, every single day, whoever finishes in the top 5 places gets invited to the Archangel Cup. So, for example, if we go over here, we can see Archangel Cup. So this was actually... This is incorrect, right? This says it's Archangel Cup 1. This is actually Archangel Cup 3. This is the first Go Rush one, but it's the 3rd Archangel Cup. So basically, anyone that gets top 5 in these point battles gets an invitation to take part in the Archangel Cup. So although this is quite low representation, these are 21 players that quote-unquote qualified, right? So I've already qualified to take part in the next Archangel Cup, which is going to be at the end of the month or the early next month. I forget which one exactly. But that's, been quite fun. So we played in the point battle today. And again, it went quite well for us. We were 3rd place. And then we kind of were okay, we have to kind of get ready for stream. We don't want to sit here and keep spamming these games. But I do quite enjoy the JP point battles. But one thing you do get is you get quick fire meta information, I suppose, right? First off, point battles aren't always going to have the same meta, right? My auto mod is is pro-manicist being racist? I think we'll allow this. We allow this. It's one of those weird things. I don't know if that is considered a slur. I've never seen it as a slur, but if anyone is offended by that, I suppose I will start letting Automod deal with it, but eh. So let's see what we got. Yap first. We have a Yo. We have Don't Think I Can Stay the Whole Stream. I set a rush tournament for 2 p.m. and hoping that it actually works for once. Are you setting them up with the in-game tournament feature? Because that's always a bit iffy. It's not super... What's the word I'm looking for? It's not intuitive on how it works, because you have to like go in, then you have to select your deck, like which decks you're allowed to use, and then you have to select the deck for the game. It's very awkward. So unless you have a group of people who you know that are taking part in it, it is a bit awkward to kind of set up. Metarian best deck. I mean, Metarian is definitely the best performing deck. I think as time goes on, there is getting less and less argument for Metarian isn't the best deck. And I think with the absence of arguments for it not being the best deck, I think just it becomes the best deck, right? It's got the best results. It's doing super, super well. Yap and play. Now, we're really bad at that. You've probably noticed that. We're quite bad at playing, and we're quite bad at yapping. And when we try and do the two together, it's like a really bad chemical reaction, and just everything goes downhill. We start playing even worse than we normally would, which is quite impressive, because a lot of the time we do make some pretty heinous mistakes on the stream. As for our yapping, we can barely talk as it is. We were talking yesterday to Monosync about this, about how he can speak multiple different languages, and this is something that quite a lot of the world can do. I barely speak English. I like to think I'm quite verbose, but like, am I using a lot of the lingo correctly? That is entirely up for debate. We have Dwan in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Didn't know about this. Neat. Yeah, if you are either in Nanau's Discord server or his Twitter, he posts the room code every day. So you just plug the room code in, show up at the right time, mash a load of games. But playing in a point battle, again, like I was saying earlier, is not necessarily the same meta. Because point battles punish you for playing a slower deck and reward you for playing a faster deck. And because of that, almost every single time you queue up in the point battles, you run into Light Galaxy because the deck is just so fast. Now, it is also really good, right? It has some really strong matchups. It can have a really strong matchup into Metarian because you can punish them like before they get going. But again, that's not, it doesn't just mean, oh, Light Galaxy counters Metarian. No, it's like it has an okay matchup into it, assuming everything doesn't go wrong. Because if the Metarian player still opens the God Hand, it's still the God Hand, right? Obviously, we do still see some more Metarian in there as well, because that is still a really strong deck. It's relatively quick. Metarian is a weird deck where I feel like half of its games, the game's over in like 2 turns. And half of the games go super late. So it's a bit of a weird one for point battles where I feel like sometimes it does really, really well. And sometimes it lags behind a little bit. And it does kind of feel a little bit like it's just RNG as to whether the games are quick or slow. But even if they're quick or slow, typically Metarian still has quite a high win rate. So as long as you're not losing in a point battle, it shouldn't matter too much. Whereas I think Light Galaxy will tend to lose a few more games. Because if you just open poorly in Light Galaxy, you can run out of steam very quickly. If for whatever reason you lose access to your secret orders, the deck really runs out of steam. It's a bit yikes sometimes. Yeah, the in-game one, even if people register their deck, they still have to show up. They did on Sunday, but I actually forgot it and was too late. Yeah, if you set them up too far in advance as well, people will just forget about them. Unfortunately, that is just a thing that's going to happen. Human beings tend to forget things unless we set alarms, or at least I do because I'm ancient. Tomato not at 999 gems is weird. I mean, we're working on it. We're slowly making our way back up there. Hello, hello, hello. I summon my deck in defense. Hello, Namco. How's it going, my friend? We have Giorfio here. Hello, hello, hello. We have Beam. Welcome, welcome on him. Now, Royal Rebels beats all the meta decks. All right. That is a very hyperbolic statement. I will say Royal Rebels has the capability to beat every single meta deck. How often it will actually accomplish that feat is not quite the same, like, ratio there, right? Like, yes, Royal Rebels and specifically Doom Metal, absolutely fantastic. Doom Metal outs everything. Doom Metal can punish your opponent when they overextend. But Heavy Metal has taken a bit of a hit, and in some matchups that will matter a lot, and other matchups it won't really matter at all. And that's just based on like hitting level 9s with it. And is that Desk card we have in the chat? Welcome, welcome. But yeah, this was the Archangel Cup. This is what we're looking at the moment. We saw Metarian win. Then it was Galaxy in second. And then Jointech Charge. So this is a very interesting third place list. So there is some things to take note of. First off, this was only a 21-player tournament. But again, these 21 players quote-unquote qualified, right? They had to place top 5 in a point battle to make this position. So it's a weird one. The other thing to take note of as well is that this Jointech Charge player did get knocked out by the guy that won. So we got knocked out by Matarian. But Jointech Charge is a weird skill, so it can be activated during the turn you normal summon Jointech Rex. We send Carpendra and Craft Roll from outside of your deck to the graveyard. So the whole point is we just set up the graveyard to use either Jointech Rex or Mirror Innovator's effects, which is like a cute idea, right? It's cool. Is it going to be hyper competitive? I'm less inclined to think that way, but it's interesting, right? We haven't been... You could look at this and just be like, this is just machines. And you'd be kind of right. It's basically machines, but it's allowed to play the Earth guys, and specifically like Rex. And Ancient Gear Golem is obviously better. Ancient Gear Golem is the same. I don't see where the point battles are posted. So the point battles, are you in Nanau's Discord, or are you looking at his Twitter, Ursus? Because I can direct you to either. I think it's on Twitter, but there's also a Discord. Yeah, they should post it on Discord. I always look at the Twitter, but I'm almost certain they post it in the Discord as well. Let's have a quick gander, just to make sure I'm not lying. Yes, they do post it in the... It's in a little, like, subsection of its own, above where the, like, videos get posted and the streams get posted. In a little announcement channel. If you're looking on there anyway. Mankind knew that they could not change Yu-Gi-Oh! So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed Konami. We always blame Konami. You got to remember that Konami as an entity, right, has done so much wrong in the past. And whatever they do right, everyone has saved up so much like vitriol towards them that you're like, okay, Konami, You've bought back a little bit of our trust. But they never, like, congratulate them. They're never like, oh, thank you, Konami. You finally done what, like, we needed to happen. It's always just like, this time, Konami, we're letting you off the hook. I'm looking at the Twitter and the Discord linked in the DLM page. The Discord linked in the DLM page. I assume this is the correct one. Let's have a look. No, that one is linking... Alright, so this one, the Discord that it links to on there, is to Angry Angels. That's Moki Moki's. You need to go to Nanau's one. So, Angry Angel or Moki Moki runs the tournaments, but basically, him, Nanau, and 8mm Apple all kind of work as one body, and they all work together. So, for example, whenever Moki Moki runs a tournament, he's the one organizing the event, but it's Apple that's, like, commentating, and he's the one streaming. So, like, I know it gets confusing that there's multiple different places, but Nanau's Discord, I'll see if I can post it. I think I should be able to post it, right? Invite. Edit invite link. Generate. So can I just do this? Nope, that's not going to help. Can I not? I'm not allowed to generate a link. Oh, okay. No, we can. So if I do that, that is Nanau's Discord. The other place you'd want to go is Twitter, which, again, is this even the right Twitter? No, this is not the right Twitter. So you want to go to Nanau. Oh, boy. How am I going to find Nanau from this? He's probably retweeted something of Nanau's, right? Either that or I'll have to go on my other thing quick. Because I do want to spend, like, a little bit of time just, like, showing this off, because Nanau and Angry Angel and Apple are all absolutely fantastic people, and they do so much for the Japanese community that I do think it is worth. There you go. There's his, there is his Twitter, his X account, as it were. Is Apple and Moki Moki in the room with us right now? Not right now, but, you know, they could just sneak in. We never know. Because don't forget as well that Angry Angel did go to Worlds, so, you know, some people in the chat have even met him in person, which is quite nice. But yeah, if we grab this, if we just bring it over here quick. So this is Nanao's Twitter, and as we can see, yeah, he does this. Like, he basically just posts these, and this is the point battles. He does these every single day. If we translate the post, it will say, held every day until October 31st. Today's rush point battle starts at 8 for him. Those who place in top 5 will be able to participate in the top-ranked tournament November 2nd. Tomato missed the joke? Absolutely. Absolutely. No one calls Twitter X. Oh, yeah. I despise, right? More than I should, right? I care more about the fact that, like, Twitter got renamed to X than I should. Because realistically, it means almost nothing. It means so little that it doesn't impact me in any meaningful way whatsoever. And still, I dislike it. But that's just part of being me. I got Japanese food from him. Well, there we go. There we go. What did you get? Yeah, that is a good point, actually. What Japanese food did you get? Okay, I got it all. Thanks. No problem, Ursus. So much people complaining about combo or maxi. Like I said, old Yugi boomer like me who missed the old days should play Rush. Rush is the in-between old and the actual Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes. 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 That's basically it. If you're looking for less combo, less floodgatey, because I think that's one thing people do forget is Rush doesn't have many floodgates. Now, Rush does have floodgates, and they're really annoying. I will say, Yamiterasu, of all the floodgates, is actually kind of the most fair one. This one is kind of okay. There are this will shut down a lot of decks, but not as many as you'd think. And basically, it just invites people to play outs to this card. There are actually way worse ones, right? I mean, everyone knows Barrier Statue from TCG. This card is just absolutely disgusting in Rush because we don't have a main phase 2. If we had a main phase 2, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. Not having a main phase 2 makes this card insane, especially considering it was at 3, and another card at 3 was Legend Strike, which let you bring back a level 4 monster from the graveyard, so you could just spam this out. Just again and again and again, and it was awful. There was also a trap card that could bring this back from the graveyard as well, so during your opponent's turn, you could just slam down a Barrier Statue of the Inferno, and it'd be like, yeah, deal with it, I don't know. So, like, this thing sucks. Yeah, I call it Twitter anyway. Exactly. But with more beautiful card, the better flowing than one part. Yeah, I agree. I do. There is a certain charm from TCG card art, and some TCG card art does look better, in my opinion. I've always been a big fan of, like, the really classic arts, like the really horrific shit drawn by Kazahaki, right? I think his stuff looks really, really cool. I think some people won't like the new art because it looks too... it looks... I don't know. It looks less rough. It looks more pristine. And I think some people don't like that. Konami really saw people were enjoying Floodgate-less format and said print Barrier Statue. Yeah, Barrier Statue was awful. But I will say this. I don't know if anyone in chat has played OCG. Barrier Statue format was awful. It was literally who can get out Barrier Statue the most and the quickest, right? You would literally play 3 copies of a trap card called, I think it was called Execute Riding, where it would just bring Barrier Statue back from the graveyard. You would play 3 copies of Legend Strike to bring Barrier Statue back from the graveyard. And then you'd run 3 copies of Barrier Statue because it's Barrier Statue. And you just make whatever board you wanted and then slap a Barrier Statue next to it and go, right, now you have to out this. And it's just like, ugh. It was like the noodles box, had to cook it back at home. Ooh, that still does sound nice though. Besides Tribute to the Doomed, what other common outs do we have? So as for right now, what you have to look at it as, Yamiterasu is a good card, right? It is a really strong card. But realistically, this card is going to stop you from playing the game for a turn, right? Most of the time, you'll be able to make something that just cleaves over this. So, for example, Talismanic Seal Array will just get rid of this card. Any maximum will get rid of this card. Now, again, if you use, for example, most maximums, or if you use a Talismanic Seal Array, you're still not fusion summoning this turn, or at least not in attack position. So what you have to do a lot of the time is make like a fusion in defense, if you even make the fusion at all, and then clear it with something else. So, like, the other big thing with Yamiterasu, and a big thing to take note of, is this card on its own doesn't do a lot. It's not a warrior, so it can't gain piercing from, like, Piercing Samurai, because it's a Celestial Warrior. If you use the Floodgate part of the effect, a lot of the time you're trading that for not doing any damage this turn. And if you're not doing any damage, because you can't beat set 3 pass, then it doesn't matter that your opponent can't fusion, because they have all of the time in the world to find an out, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird dynamic, right? If we get other good cards to go along with Yamiterasu, that could get a bit nuts. And you might be saying, okay, but you could play like Kime Ruler, right? And then you could attack directly with Kime Ruler if your opponent's just setting 3, and that's true. But at that point, how many Yami Ruler and Kime Ruler are you going to be playing in this deck? Because already we're looking at, what, like at least 2 Kime Ruler, 1 or 3 Yami Ruler, because you have to get that's now 5 boss monsters. That already can get a little bit heavy. What if they keep Yami in defense mode? That is a good point. That is a very, very good point. If they do keep it in defense, Talismanic Seal Ray is obviously a lot less useful, and it does have 3,000 defense, which does become a bit of a problem. But, as all things, I would imagine that just as soon as we got maximums, they gave us the out in TSA. If Konami is really worried about Yamiterasu, I imagine they will give us more outs in the box that comes along with it. Right now, the best outs I can think of is like Mirror Innovator. Now, that's not really a sensible answer, because not every deck can run Mirror Innovator. You can play it in machines, you can play it in like good stuff, because machine good stuff is a thing that has started becoming a bit prominent. But other than like that, you're not going to see that card anywhere else. And not even a generic card like Ancient Gear Golem outs this. So it is a bit annoying, right? Specifically if it's in defense mode, that can get a bit yikes. TSA on a defense position monster. Well, there you go. Well, TSA is sort of a staple still for some decks, right? Realistically, every deck is playing TSA except maybe Metarian at some number. Like, Spellcasters still play it, Dragons still play it, just Psychic play it? Psychic might not play it either, to be fair, but Psychic has a ton of spell traps. Cyber Dragon still play it. Like, it's still a well-played card. Blades of the Divine Wind. Well, there we go. It's really hard to out for Metarian, though. But that's the point. That for me is the point. I think Konami is planning to not touch Metarian at all. And instead, they're going to give us Yamiterasu and be like, done. We've fixed Metarian. Yami Ruler now exists. Or Yamiterasu now exists. I think that's kind of the plan they're going for. Metarian does not. Galaxy does not. Yes. Yes. Sidra does not. Sidra does, to be fair. Now, not every Sidra list is going to, but a lot of Sidra players do play TSA in that deck. So I will say that. But, again, regardless, like we said, it doesn't make any difference if it's in defense mode anyway, right? Because it's not going to affect it, so it's irrelevant. Doubt? Well, you could doubt all you want, my friend. It didn't change the facts. So, if Yamiterasu comes out, I think it will be fine. Realistically, Metarian is such a toxic deck that anything that gets rid of it, I think would be good. Outside of exactly hitting it, which is what I would like to happen. I would like to just see Type Change Beam straight up banned. I think if Type Change Beam gets banned, Metarian's fine. Because then you lose the ability to just spin your opponent's entire board, you lose the ability to OTK your opponent, you lose so much of like the unfair stuff that deck does. Now, the deck would still be fantastic, right? You still get to pop back row, you can still pop face down monsters, you can still change the battle positions of monsters. It would still do all of that really cool shit, and it still does it really, really well. You still get to keep Reactor. Reactor still gets to just be Pot of Greed, which is really, really strong. Like, there's still a lot of stuff that it gets to do. But you don't get to do the really unfair shit, right? Reactor and Star Restart to 3. The problem with hitting Star Restart is it will hit other fusion decks, but right now, no one else really gives a shit, right? Dragon Fusion realistically is not playing Starry Start. Now, would it be playing Starry Start if we were playing 40-card deck? I mean, probably not. But the reason we don't care about Starry Start as much in Dragon and Spellcaster is because they have a skill that basically is Starry Start, right? You're like, I don't give a shit about getting the fusion back from the graveyard because I can already get it back from the graveyard. Who cares? So it's one of those weird ones where if we get more fusion decks in the future, which we're expecting to, and those fusion decks don't have ways to recycle fusion or to have easy access to fusion, hitting Starry Start is basically hitting all of those decks, which is like really it's not inherently a bad thing, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, that's going to kill all those decks, because it probably won't. But what I am saying is we already have one fusion deck that doesn't have a skill. I guess we have so Cyber Dragon can get fusion once, and Metarian can get it 0 times using skills, right? So as we go forward, I guess it's going to come down to how many of those fusion skills are there going to be, and how many of them are going to get us back fusion from the graveyard. It's a weird one. I assume we'll get one for Psychic, and we already know we're getting one for Celestial Warriors, right? Because we've seen the skill. So we're going to be getting that. Anyway, let's try and catch up with chat a little bit. We already got the out. It's Darkness Approaches. There we go. There we go. So that's all we need. No way. Didn't see TSA for a long time. Once TCB gets banned, Metarian will use TSA, I guess. I mean, some Metarianists were using TSA originally anyway. There was a brief period where players were dropping their back row hate and including 1 or 2 copies of TSA. I know Manicust was one of the players that was doing this. So it has seemed like some experimentation, and the primary reason it was actually seeing play was just to put cards back into the deck, so you could either redraw into them, or so that you could just have more cards in your deck, which would then turn on Reactor. It's like, it's not even a bad card in there, right? Please ban TCB. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it as well. We did it, Konami. We saved the format. Sup? Are we talking Rush? Hello, Kurosama. Yes, we are talking Rush at the moment. We're just kind of yapping. We're just yapping at the moment. Issue is I'm French. I don't know English name of the card, and Google don't recognize French name for Rush card du aha. I can ask you about the combo than I use. I mean, you could try and describe it. That's the best we'd have for that. Tomato, I hear there is Talisman Warrior Fusion monsters. Are they good? They're not good, but they're not bad. They're kind of like fine. They're okay. They're never going to be your boss monster, but they're like okay. That's kind of how you look at them. Release Yamitarasu now. We need to stop the Metarian heresy. Maybe just Reactor to 3 so that it is less splashable. I think that would be a good thing overall. I think realistically, some decks just now having Pot of Greed is really, really good. Sometimes it does nothing, right? And sometimes it's just bad. But sometimes it's crazy overpowered, right? Just getting a +2, especially if you're playing Metarian specifically, because Metarian do need specific combo pieces, but they don't need many to get going, right? Like, to do a fusion is 3 cards. So if you just get the 3 correct cards, you're kind of off to the races. So when you get 2 cards, that's 66% of your fusion is just really, really good. But again, it all depends what you draw, right? I forgot Yami's effect stops normal monsters too. Oh yeah. For all the other limit 3s they run. I think that's the point though, right? Is if you limit it to 3, it stops other people using it rather than them. And also it stops them from playing limit 3s. Because right now, we have seen various different Metarian builds experiment with both Call of the Earthbound and Ghost Cyclone, right? So by limiting 3 the Reactor, we stopped them from being able to do that. Because right now, like, I think Bismuth was the original, like, person that was actively doing this in tournaments, and that is just playing Call of the Earthbound to stop yourself getting OTK'd by other Metarian players. So it's like, oh, I can play aggressive because my face downs is like 2 Call of the Earthbound and a negate attack, so I can just have 3 face-up monsters. I don't give a shit. Whereas your opponent, who just has the 1 copy of negate attack in their entire deck that can save them, is now like, oh, how do I deal with this? Now, Call of the Earthbound is not great all the time, but it is pretty good into like Galaxy. That is pretty good into Metarian. It is very good into Spellcasters. There are a lot of decks that it is really good into. I would say it's less good into like Sidra. It's less good into Dragon Fusion. It's sometimes okay against Psychic. Like, it's a weird card. But yeah, by limiting 3, we just stop that, right? I know I mean that and gun. Limiting 3 gun and reactor would be an interesting one. I don't actually know where people would fall on that. Like, would you go 2 gun, 1 reactor, or 1 gun, 2 reactor, or just 3 of one or t'other? It's... I'd have to, like, test it out to work out, like, what feels the best, personally. We need Ant Rebellion of the Rebellion. That will fix the format. That's all we need. What do you think about Dark Ruler Battle Slash in E-Hero to combo with the Fusion, Avian, and Burst Enertrix? I think it is not very good. So a 500 combat trick on a 2100 body is just not good. Realistically, you're going to be stopping 2500 attack monsters, and that is it. And that's 2500 attack monsters that have not been boosted by anything. Like, what does that even stop these days? Like, Dragius is going to get boosted by 200 by its skill. It's not going to stop any fusion monster. It's not going to stop, like, an Innovator. It's not going to stop a 7's Rogue Magician. I mean, what does it stop? It's not going to stop even, like, a Cyburst boss monster. I just feel like most of the time it's going to be bad. Now, sometimes it will come off and it will be great. You'll be like, oh, you attacked into my guy. I've killed your guy. I've burned you for 2500 on your turn. That's going to feel fantastic. How often is that realistically going to happen in a competitive setting? Not too often, in my opinion. Describe the art of the card. TSA is solid in Matarian, but only if you use it mid/late game. Counterproductive early game if you're looking for fusion still. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. The thing I want to come to Rush Duel Links is Magnet Warriors and the new support. Same with Red Eyes. Jointech Rex Smile. I don't know what that is in reference to, but there it is. We'll see it down here. There it is. It's going to be in there. I just played one, and you can destroy a spell trap card. I will say, spellcasters, heroes don't really need more back row hate, as well as is not. Now, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I thought Ruler's Battle Slash was if you have a face-up level 8 or higher warrior type monster on your field, which means this is only going to work if you have out, what's his name? Tantalum. So, like, you're only going to get that pop if you're on Tantalum. A lot of people have already sworn off of it. Jointech Rex. Versus the 2500 Battle Slash. Yes, that would work. As long as they don't pop the Battle Slash with the Jointech Rex. But yeah, it's one of those weird ones where, again, you'll only get the pop if it's on Tantalum. On Tantalum, using Dark Ruler's Battle Slash Protect, it can be okay. But again, it's still going to die to, like, almost anything. Like, now, what does Tantalum beat with this? It will beat exactly Matarian guys, assuming the Matarian guys haven't done anything else. Bearing in mind, Ashura Star can just pop face downs, or just absorb his attack, so it won't stop Ashura Star straight up. Vritra Star, if they want to play around it, can just flip it down and attack over it. The Dinosaur can just weaken it and attack over it, so it's not going to work against that deck. It'll work against exactly Dragius, but not against Dragius Star. I just feel like it's just not worth it. It's just too weak for me. But we were talking about floodgates, and I actually want to talk about a much, much more annoying floodgate. So this floodgate was so good that it actually got nerfed. So this floodgate, you should be able to spot it very, very quickly. So, continuous effect. Your opponent cannot activate normal spell cards. Now, bearing in mind, the only non-normal spell cards are field spells, which are very rare, and equip spells, which are almost all ass. Almost every single equip spell in the game is terrible. It's just straight up bad. They're very, like, anime, where it's like, oh, I'm going to use this field spell, or this, I'm going to use this equip spell. It's going to give me this super unique effect that's super situational, and blah, 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 blah. And it's very cool in the anime when they do that. In actual play, equip spells kind of suck. So this basically just says your opponent isn't allowed to use spell cards. Now, some decks are going to have more traps than others, but a lot of combo decks in the OCG will play one trap card. Like, if you're like a full-on combo deck or like a full-on fusion deck, you'll be playing everything gas just to try and get you into your combo. So, you know, a bunch of consistency cards, plus like Star Restart, plus Fusion, etc., plus Legend Spell, and you'll have like one trap. And this basically just turns off all of that. Now, some decks play a sizable chunk of traps, like 4 to 5 traps. And this is not as good against them, but it's still good. Now, obviously, if you're playing against the fusion deck specifically, they can still fuse. But again, fusing in OCG was a lot harder than it is in Duel Links because we didn't have the skills. We had 40 card decks with the same number of fusion, which means actually drawing into your fusion was a lot harder. So there's that, right? Do you think that Maximum deck will come back with a new support? Oh yeah. Maximum decks have already done better in Duel Links than they did for the time in the OCG. As we get the Go Rush Maximums, which will probably be a while away because we'll probably get them with their characters. But when we do get them, they will be meta, especially because they'll give a skill to push them, and they were good in OCG anyway, so if they get a skill on top, they'll be fantastic, right? It's one of those things where whenever something was good and it gets a good skill on top, it suddenly becomes really good, right? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Altiera was pretty toxic. People just didn't like this card. And the only other real Floodgate is a card that, again, everyone should already know. Vanity's Fiend. Now, Vanity's Fiend hasn't actually seen a ton of play. This card saw a decent chunk of side deck play, and you would play this if you knew that you were going first and that you were playing against like an OTK deck. So, for example, in Seven's Gears format, you would use Vanity's Fiend to just like, oh, I lost game one, I've won, I get to choose who goes second. I'm going to go first. I'm going to summon out. I'm going to hope that I just draw into Vanity's Fiend on turn one, summon it out, and stop my opponent from playing the game. That's the objective, right? But again, this didn't see a ton of play. I think this saw play in Royal Rebels very briefly, but like not a ton. The big ones are Altiera, Yamiterasu, which to be fair, Yamiterasu was like annoying, but it was never like a hugely popular card in OCG. So like, you know, there's that. But, with that said, let us take a gander at our tier list. So this was the tier list that we made. Well, this was the updated tier list that we did last Tuesday. So this is about a week ago. And this is how we saw everything at the time. This is going to need an update. And for a start, I think just all of this stuff needs to just come off this list. Like, all of this crap, like, is fine. Maybe we change this to Rogue. These decks at least like have done things like the Vulcan and the Overlord. They've at least done something, even if that something was very minimal. New combo, so Dark Ruler Slash plus Wingman plus Call of the Earthbound. I mean, you can't use 2 trap cards for the same attack, so that doesn't work. But fuck the birds. I mean, yeah. I'm right there with you, Kim friend. But let's see where we want to move this stuff around. I think this has deserved this, personally. I think this deserves to be up here with the big boys. In fact, statistically, it might even make sense to do something like this. Now, this is going to be quite drastic, but bear with me. I think this might be an actual accurate representation of the meta. And some of these could probably even fall down from here as well, to be fair. 4 is just like, they're in tournaments, they're doing okay. They've either won a tournament, but very rarely, or they've done quite well in tournaments, so like, we'll keep them there sort of thing. But realistically, I think these are the 5 decks that are actually the meta. So, realistically, if we take a look at our data, Matarian have the most wins, 10 wins. Right, just 10 wins. It's straight bad, straight good. 7 isn't that bad. 7, it's that bad. The thing to remember is this. So being in tier 4 down here at the moment, this doesn't mean you're bad. This means you're not this, right? It means this is busted. This is unbelievably strong, and this can be unbelievably strong. This can keep up with the above decks if its game plan goes alright, and so can this. These are just worse than everything above it. That's all this is. Again, I've said this like plenty of times, but I think that the difference in tiers in Rush is very minimal compared to speed. I think the difference between like a speed tier 1 and a speed tier 2 is a lot different than like a Rush tier 1 to a Rush tier 2. Statistics is for nerd. I don't know if you've not been here before, Zaki boys, but very much nerd. Tomato, if I don't see Bluetooth Dragon in tier 1, I'm unsubbing from your OnlyFans. It's only fangirls, XY's dragon. Come on. I don't speak to you verbally particularly often. Do you like XYZ dragon or XZ's dragon? Because like my brain looks at that and autocorrects it to XZ's dragon. I'm just going to assume it's XZ's dragon unless corrected. But take a look at the stats. Metarion has 10 tournament wins. 10 tournament wins. That is huge. 10 is ridiculous. They have won the last 4 tournaments. And 2 of those tournaments were dominated by an entire Metarion top 4. Yeah, that's correct. No worries. Fantastic. So Metarion is head and shoulders above every other deck. In terms of wins, they've almost doubled Cyber Dragon as like having the most tournament wins, which is just insane. In terms of top 4 representation, they have a decent chunk above everything else. Top 8, like they're above Cyber Dragon, not by much, but then they are still leaps and bounds above the other decks that are up here. And then if we look at points top 4, we have now seen a shift where Light Galaxy, despite having won 3 less tournaments, is seeing more tops and more higher finishes than Cyber Dragons. So like there is that. But even look at that, 85 compared to 49 at the next highest. Again, that's almost double. Looking at points for top 8, again, it's a bit further away from double, but you know what we say. It's almost double. It's easier to say that than not. So I actually think I would put Ashura Star in its own tier just because it's so dominant performance-wise compared to like everything else. So I think I'm quite comfortable with this being a solo tier 1. I think these 2 decks are then just tier 2, right? Galaxy is fantastic. You can swarm the board. You can get like so much insane damage and so quickly. It has a pretty good matchup into Metarion. I will say it's not like a dominant matchup, but it is a pretty good one. And considering not many decks have a good matchup into Metarion, I think like Galaxy is just like a fantastic tier 2 deck. Cyber Dragon is a weird one. I feel like Cyber Dragon keeps slipping. Like it was like the unquestioned dominant deck for a bit. And then like after here started to really fall off. Like we still did see 2 tournament wins since then. But like first week it got most of its steam and then it started to slow down. And again, it's still seeing play, right? There's still lots of Cyber Dragons around here. 1 in top 8 here. Like it's still not bad. But I do think it has kind of stalled out a little bit. I do think it has an okay matchup into Light Galaxy specifically. So I think that's sort of why it remains relevant, because it still does bully quite a lot of decks. I think it does, though, have a pretty bad matchup into Metarion. I think realistically, Metarion's going to beat Cyber Dragon most of the time. Cyber Dragon has an okay matchup into Galaxy, and Galaxy is an okay matchup into Metarion. So I'd say it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors with these 3 decks. And again, just because it's rock, paper, scissors and a deck has an advantage does not mean it is always going to win that matchup. 100% Metarion can beat Galaxy. Galaxy can beat Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon can beat Metarion. It's just I feel like they're favored in the opposite directions, right? And then you get down here, and this is where stuff gets a bit awkward. Dragons have a lot of weaknesses. The deck can just kind of fall apart. But if everything does get going, the Dragon deck can beat any of the decks above it. It's not going to be doing that as often as these 3 decks are going to be taking games off of it. And I feel very similarly for Psychic. Psychic is still a really strong deck. But it's like very piece dependent. Hello, Duke. Welcome on in. We're just talking about the tiers. I'm trying to think if like any of this needs to come down. I do think that we need to bump Cyburst down. Cyburst is just not seeing like any results like whatsoever. But like by that logic, then Royal Rebels comes down with it. But again, we like Royal Rebels is here. We've seen 0 Royal Rebel top 8s. And we've seen people play it. It's just not making tops. Like maybe we do just drop a lot of this down a bit. That feels weird. This feels weird to drop that many down to Rogue. Again, we're using the term Rogue kind of interchangeably, with just like worse than the other decks here at the moment. Are you here, Maximus? I don't think we've seen Max today. This is hard. This is hard. So if we look at just win rate, what's the next deck? So it's Spellcasters, E-Hero, Light Machine. So that's almost the same as how we've got it now. Except you just swap these 2 around. Then it's Vulcan, Cyburst, Machine Good Stuff, Dark Magician, Mutton, Overlord, and Worm. I have seen Worms doing okay. Like, specifically in, like, some of the JP stuff, we've been seeing Worms do, like, okay. We did see it top twice as well, which I think this surprised a lot of people. But having Worms see a top 8 finish across... God, where was this? So it's the Archangel Cup and Quantum Rush 38. I'm here to conquer this world. Yeah? He's on the Innovator grind. Yeah, you were like hard carrying Innovator for the longest time, Ursus, and then we've just not seen it keep up, unfortunately, which is a big shame because obviously you're kind of the last bastion of the Light Machine. We started to see Machine Good Stuff kind of show up and now be kind of the new machine list, right? Oh, don't need that anymore. Like, this is the first time I've seen Jointech Charge used in this. A lot of people are playing, like... Now, I guess this is kind of a different deck. That's the issue, is a lot of them are... A lot of the machine decks we've been seeing are just kind of different decks. Because a lot of these cards are interchangeable. So, for example, we've been seeing Fusion Deal with Mirror Innovator just kind of thrown in. Some people are going all in on the Jointech Rex and the Mirror Innovator and the Ancient Gear Golem. Some people are just doing Gear Golem plus Mirror Innovator, plus this like a Metarian package. Ursa's going to chronicle his whole deck. I was testing a similar build. Well, obviously, Thunderspark is another weird one. Thunderspark is a card that I think sometimes is fantastic and other times is very mid. And it kind of depends on the matchup and like the board state to actually work out if it's any good. So one other thing I would like to take a look at as well is... We take a look over here. Can we open this in a new tab? We're going to make this any bigger. Make this big. Is there like a better way to do this where we can actually see everything? Probably not. Right, we're just going to hide these two. So we're hiding Psychic and Royal Rebels. But so this is one of the Japanese players. This is Apple's current tier list for this format. So he has... Metari now an S. Bearing in mind, again, prior to this, the Japanese players had Light Galaxy as their only tier 1 deck. So now they have seen the way, they have found the source, they have realized that Metarian is best deck, and they have now put it up to #1 spot, followed by Light Galaxy. So again, if we compare this to our list right now, that's basically the same. Obviously, they have it in the same tier. I personally think this changes a little bit. The other thing to take note of as well is Japanese tier lists are primarily going to be point battle focused because that's what Japanese players do more than anything. They only have one tournament, so point battles are going to be what dominates their meta. So it makes sense that they would have a deck that's really strong in point battles in tier 1. Mi-chan on the list. I mean, it is down here in like basically bad. I couldn't tell you what this word down here means next to me, but it means something there. So nothing in A+, which is like, what, tier 1.5 or whatever for us. So we'll just go down and say tier 2. So tier 2, they are saying Dragon Fusion is better than Cyber Dragon, which is a bold claim. I don't inherently disagree with that, but statistically, Cyber Dragon is still outperforming Dragon Fusion. So I think, you'd always... say it's probably doing better, and then it gets weird. Then it gets really weird because we have the Jointech Rex. This is basically Machine Good Stuff, right? But they have it as just the tier under, basically like some of the best decks. So they would have it here. They would have this here, basically. We haven't really been seeing that. Japan don't give a fuck about nostalgia. Cyber Dragon, who? Well. True. But then they have Worms. Like, they have Worms and Machine Good Stuff above Spellcasters, Heroes, Cyburst, Machine, Psychic, and Rebels. Maybe it's based on its faster for point battle rooms and similar power level. Yes. I mean, it's still a good deck, right? It is still... I don't think any of these decks are, like, inherently bad. I do think the only, like, strange things for me is I don't know why we'd have Worms so high. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think Worm is, like, a terrible deck. But, like, would you have it above Machines? Above Spellcasters? Is there a chance we can see Yuga in next Rush Duel series? I mean, there's always a chance. We have no idea what they're going to do with it. There is always a chance. But. It's just a weird one. I don't know how to... I think I'm quite happy with this list. Worms, unironically, aren't bad, apparently. I mean, again, they've been seeing some play. What I have seen is a lot of the players that have been testing Worms have been saying it has a shockingly bad matchup into Galaxy. So there is that. But if the Worm deck gets going, it can be really strong. Here are these decks that played in their point battles, so they could be biased. Oh yeah, 100%. Everyone's going to be biased in some way or another, right? I am very biased towards my spreadsheet, right? I am very biased towards what is performing well in tournaments. And what's performing well in tournaments does not necessarily always translate to is just the best deck. But I will always be like, well, I have evidence to support my claim, and therefore I will always be biased towards that evidence. Because even though there is quote-unquote evidence, you know, tournament results don't always tell the full story, right? A teammate's pointed out to me recently, the Worm player told him the matchup with Galaxy isn't so bad as was expected. So the only people that I have spoken to about this, or like seen their comments, have been Japanese players. And from the Japanese players' perspectives, they specifically have been saying that like Galaxy has a really dominant matchup into it. But, you know, that is just a take, right? We bias towards old decks and never use it, Lamau. We're going to see Yuga grown up giving Karibot to the pro tag like GX. Oh, could you imagine? Metarian matchup is fairly good. Yes, that is the big reason why I think we've seen Worms have a lot more experimentation, is because it has an okay matchup into specifically Metarians. Metarians don't have great ways to deal with maximums. Like, if you break it down, if you slap down a max against the Batarian player, they can't change it to defense mode. They can pop it with Victor Star. They can boost over it with Ashura Star, but they're only ever going to get in for 2800 damage off that specific attack, so they would need to have the rest of your opponent's life points and damage next to Ashura Star, which is quite resource intensive. Specifically, if you're making Excavator, its attack can get really big, which means Laden Star doesn't necessarily help with it. You can spin it with Heracles Star, though, right? Or Hercules Star, I think it's called now. So, there is that. He doesn't want the old decks to look good. I mean, for me, if we're talking about me specifically, kinda true. If we're talking about Apple, maybe? I mean, Worms is here. Worms is like the highest rated old deck on here, which is definitely interesting. But one thing to take note of is a lot of the decks down in C tier for him are quite slow decks, which I think does hinder them in terms of point battles, right? And point battle representation, point battle results. The Metarian boost spell is pretty important for the max matchups. Yeah, it definitely can be. Definitely can be. It depends. Because again, if you get out a Excavator and then it gets to like 5 cards in hand, it doesn't really matter, right? Because you can boost to 43 and you know, you're staring down a 5k, so it just doesn't do anything. But you still can use Type Change Beam to spin it, to get rid of it with, you know, this, that, or whatever. So it's pretty interesting, but the issue I have with Worms is I think it's going to have some really bad matchups. Like, not necessarily a ton, but I feel like there will be some matchups where it just doesn't do well, especially against some of the older decks, because it was already not doing super well against the older decks anyway. But regardless, I think I'm relatively happy with this. Maybe some of these rogue options can like come off. Like, I don't know if we really need Overlord and Vulcan. I think we especially don't need Overlord. Maybe we can leave Vulcan on. But then again, do I even think Vulcan is in the same level as these other decks? Probably not. Hero was a big disappointment after all. Realistically, yeah. Like, if we take a look at Heroes, how they performed. They've had 4 top 8 finishes, which is, to be fair, the same as Light Machine. Not doing, like, super great. The issue is even if you're, like, an okay deck, you still just don't hold a candle to, like, the top 5. The top 5 are just so much further ahead. Now, you could even make an argument that Psychic and Spellcaster are pretty close. And, like, by extension, maybe Hero's kind of close to that. But, like, I feel like the difference between Psychic and Spellcaster feels huge. Spellcaster's, like, is a strong deck. But, like, it has some matchups that it's just absolutely horrendous into. So I don't feel comfortable putting any higher. I don't know. Does anyone have any huge issues with this tier list? Does anyone think there is something on here that looks catastrophically wrong? Does anyone think there is anything here that is so blatantly in the wrong tier it needs to get moved around a little bit before we kind of finish up with our tier list chat? Maybe a matchup chart like they have in Street Fighter is more useful when the meta like this. It feels like most decks have to pick between losing to Galaxy or losing to Vitarium. Yes, I mean, that's not really anything new. Back in... God, when would this have been? I think it was right after Machines came out. You had to make a choice. Like, it was even before that, really. So, back when Harpies were meta, and I think probably when Thunder, or I think it became more prevalent with Machines, you had to make a choice whether you're running bodies that have high defense or high attack. Because if you have high attack, they're good against Harpies. If you have high defense, they're good against Piercing. So it's like, well, do you play high attack or high defense? And right now, we're in a similar situation where it's like, if we play low defense, well, then the Piercers are going to hurt us. And there is quite a prominent Piercer in Light Galaxy. But Light Galaxy themselves also can change you to attack. So to play against Light Galaxy specifically, it's like you want to play high attack and high defense so you don't get punished by either of the two effects of exactly Meteor Charge. So it's very awkward. It's very awkward. I agree with Vulcan and Overlord not being as good, but Psychic and Cyburst are much better. Wait, so you're saying... Let me get this straight. Whirl is saying you would have Psychic higher than tier 3. You think Psychic is on the level of either... Because bear in mind you said much better, not a bit better. So to me, that tells me you want Psychic like up here, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. If you think it's a bit better than this, I could maybe see you thinking it should be here. But like, I think tier 3 is very fair. I think it's the 5th best deck in the game, and I think being 5th is fine. Cyburst, however, I don't realistically think should be any higher. I mean, again, if we take a look at the data, where is Cyburst? Cyburst is here. Cyburst has had a grand total of 1 top 4 finish. It has had 5 top 8 finishes, to be fair. I think that at the very least lets me bump it up to here. I don't think it needs to be in tier 4, realistically. These decks are all just outperforming it by like a lot. We realistically haven't really been seeing Cyburst do anything. Like, in point battles, we're not seeing it do anything. In tournaments, we're not seeing it do anything. Even on ladder, I haven't seen it do anything. I just don't see Cyburst doing anything. I see it played a decent chunk. It just keeps losing. I don't know. Cyburst is a weird one. Because again, sometimes you will just get lucky and win. Like, is Cyburst better than Heroes? Is Heroes better than Cyburst? I mean, in a straight up match, I'd probably give it to Cyburst, like if they were to play against each other, but... I think we're going to leave it like this for now. And we'll see if anything else gets changed later. Better than Heroes? I mean, statistically, that is an inaccurate statement. Statistically. Again, would it beat Heroes in a straight up 1v1? Probably. But. One other thing I did want to touch on as well is, so Brad tweeted this, which was talking about the different games that are coming to the Early Days collection. To be honest, Seven's Magician is one of my favorite decks so far. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love the deck. I think playing it is really, really fun. I think it's just a little bit too weak. I always clap this deck every time I play against it. It has a massive flaw in that it is not easily able to get damage through your opponent's board. And it's overshadowed by other cards that can boost as big as it, if not higher. So you'd sit there and go, okay, so what's Paladin's like greatest strength? It can get to like 5,300 attack. But it's just like 5,300 just isn't that much anymore. You have to compare it to a deck that can just very easily reach like 7,000 to 10,000 attack. So like it's one gimmick, another deck does better. And then in terms of getting through with piercing damage, I feel like every other deck up here like just does it better. Since Konami is not releasing the necessary cards needed to be improved. Yeah, don't get me wrong. As soon as we get more spellcaster support, this will probably do a lot better. It would also... So when we get the other fusion as well, if we go and take a quick look at that. If we look at Master of Seven's Road. This guy fixes a lot of the problems, right? So it's made using Seven's Road Magician and Seven's Road Witch. So, you know, 2 cards you'd be playing anyway. This card gains attack equal to the number of dark attribute spellcaster monsters with different names in your graveyard. So this wants you to play as many different dark spellcasters as possible, but this is a continuous effect, so it will keep this attack boost on your opponent's turn. And if you have 7 or more dark attribute spellcaster type monsters, it gets piercing damage, which is so good. Since Konami is 5,300 is not a lot, I think there's a problem. Exactly. It's the problem spellcasters has right now is twofold. One, their big boosting attack guy is just not as threatening as other big boosting attack guys in the format. And 2, we don't have a good way to get piercing, and we can only give that piercing to a 1600 attack monster. So we have to rely on Gazelle, which is very easily played against. So for example, I played in Mono's tournament yesterday, played against a spellcaster, and I just kept a card in hand whenever I was like, okay, I could die here if he has Gazelle. I'll just keep a card in hand, and I was just completely safe the entire game. And just felt, I was like, I cannot lose from this position. So it's like, it's a weird one. Master of Seven's Road, Seven's Geas, and Seven's Ultima Witch is one of the strongest spellcasters. Well, Seven's Geas is a card that warps the meta around itself, or at least it did in the OCG. So that's a very big outlier. Ultima Witch is very new. Like, that card came out, like, a few months ago. So, like, that's still brand new, and is also a bit weird. Master of Seven's Road, this card is ancient. This card came out during the Sevens era. So I would say this is probably the most likely to come out next as our big spellcaster fusion. Like, we might get some like gimmicky ones on the way, but I said this is the next big spellcaster boss we're gonna get. I've seen some spellcasters on ladder that play Torna to compensate. Yes, the downside with having Torna is always going to be it's an extra tribute monster, because we still want to be getting as many Sevens Road magicians into our hand as possible. We still kind of want to be running the 3 Sevens Road. Then we want to be running our 3 Witch as well, so that's already like 6 bosses. And then any more on top starts to get a little bit bricky, so it can get a bit awkward. I want that card to be added in my deck. What about the Cat Witch fusion? Are you talking about the Sevens Road Ultima Witch? Is that what we're talking about? Come on, DLM. We're talking about this one. Sevens Road Charm Witch. So this is also pretty much brand new, as you can tell by the fact it's still in Japanese here. I guess we'll get it here so everyone can actually read it. So, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, change the battle position of one monster in your opponent's field, then if this card's attack inflicts piercing damage, then if you have Sevens Road Magician in your graveyard, this card can't be destroyed by effects. I mean, it's fine. 2800's fine. It's very easy to get out, because it's made using a 1 tribute and a no tribute. It can change battle position and give piercing, so it's kind of like Meteor Charge, kind of built into a guy. The downside is also having a weak 1600 body. I mean, oh yeah. Isn't weak is fit. Don't attack, point shame them. Weak 7's Ultimate Witch is much better. I mean, yeah, but again, we're just, you know, someone mentioned specifically talk about that one. Like, Ultimate Witch is like fine. Shuffle a spell card from your opponent's graveyard into the deck, then you can add a spell card from your graveyard to your hand. But even this, like, is awkward, right? In order to make this, you have to use a Witch and a Magical Knight or Spellcaster fusion. So you have to get out a fusion, then you have to combine a Witch into it, and even then, you recycle a spell card. That's it. So, like, it's not even, like, that crazy. Hey, Tomato Yuri Unlock event tomorrow. Yes, I am very excited, although I'm probably not going to try and build Predaplants on my speed account. I'm probably just going to try and save up for dinos. If Doodle Beasts come out in the box, I'm going to be so excited, but I'm just not sure. Very excited. That spell better win you the game. Exactly. So you can take back a legend spell. That's fantastic. But like, what legend spell are you taking back as winning you the game? Realistically, it's not going to be Dark Hole because you Dark Hole your own boss monster off the field. I mean, like, Heavy Storm could be good. Giant Trunade. Monster Reborn is a good option. We're going to get him unlocked in 3 days. Oh, yeah, his event starts, but yeah, we won't get him yet. Activate Sparks, summon Ultima Witch, activate Sparks again. See, now, Gunkin Suship Shari is always the one thinking outside the box, right? That is 400 damage you could inflict. That could win you the game, right? If your opponent's on 400 and you have Sparks and the ability to make a Witch, perfect, right? Tomorrow we're going to see Starving Venom's summon animation. Hopefully, we'll also get some more leaks for Rush as well, which is kind of what I'm hoping for personally. How about Seven's Chariot? It's strong like those four. Seven's Chariot is a weird one. Seven's Chariot is really, really good. But I don't think they want to give it to us yet. I think it's still a bit early for Seven's Chariot. It's like, when are we going to get the Go Rush fusions? Because we could get them very soon if Konami wanted to give them to us. Or they could wait a long time before they start giving us the actual Go Rush ones. Tribute to the Doomed surely will win me the game. Just imagine how many resources, right? So, right, let's say, right, let's give benefit of the doubt. We already have a 7th Witch and a Magical Knight on the field. So we already have them. So our hand now, fusion to fuse them together. Then, God, let's say we have, you know, Tribute to the Doomed in hand. We'll activate Tribute to the Doomed, discard a card. Then we have to send a spell card. Well, then we can get that Tribute to the Doomed back, which gives us like an extra card in hand. And then we discard another card when we activate Tribute to the Doomed. That is so resource heavy for like not much game. We're getting the full main box leaks too tomorrow. I'm very stacked with gems. My speed account is good to go on gems. My rush account, not so much. Not so much, unfortunately. But it is what it is. But yeah, this is how I see tier list. I think tier lists look good. Maybe there's an argument for Cyburst to moved up a bit. I don't see it personally. It's also not been doing well. Like, just statistically, it's not been performing well. One question, why did Yuga stopped using his pink fusion card in Go Rush? Any clue why? No idea. I think that is such a small and irrelevant factoid that I don't think it really matters too much. I guess a game ender with TSA if you can already summon the Magical Knight and the Witch and Fusion. Well, there you go. There you go. Yuga is the one character in Go Rush who has 2 fusion cards. So I always thought it was going to be something like the fusion that Yuga got was from space, right? It was like a meteor like crashes into his dual disc. And it might have just been like that was the one like unique fusion. Yuga is one character. Magical Knight's the Type Breaker, the Magical Warrior. Started. Could you imagine? Imagine we just get Breaker, the Magical Warrior in Rush. They'd have to redesign him, but I think it would be good. Anyway, we were talking about this earlier. The Early Days collection, right? I love a lot of the early Yu-Gi-Oh games. However, a lot of the games in this are kind of crap. So, if we take a look at it quick. Be gone. If we take a look at the games in here. So Duel Monsters 2, Dark Duel Stories, Grand Duelist, Eternal Duelist Soul, and Expert. These games all kind of suck. I'm not really a big fan of these games. These two are actually really fun. I think Sacred Cards and Reshef of Destruction, really enjoyable to play. Sacred Cards, arguably too easy. Reshef of Destruction, arguably too hard. But they're both like RPGs. They're both have a world map, walk around, talk to different duelists, has a story, build up your deck, get your deck stronger, beat stronger and stronger opponents, etc, etc. And I really like those style of game. These all suck. Now, more titles to be revealed. What I would like, personally, just give us some more of the Japanese games that we never got in English. And I would specifically really like the Capsule Monster games. I want the Capsule Monster games so badly. But I think the chances of us getting them is so low that I almost don't think it's going to happen. But I would absolutely adore getting the cat, especially if they were translated into English. The Capture Monster games would be so good. That's nostalgia bait. It will work on me. If this has Capture Monster in it, I'm buying it day one. That is just happening. It doesn't matter what game they push out, they're always bugged. Hey Tomato, have you read a spell and trap card which has confusing effects? Probably. Duke Devlin game. So you're thinking of Dungeon Dice Monsters, and Dungeon Dice Monsters is a cool game, like as a premise, but the Game Boy Advanced Dungeon Dice Monsters game was really bad, so I don't really care for that, but that could make it into this game. But I personally, I don't really give a shit about Dungeon Dice Monsters. Again, the Dungeon Dice Monsters, the board game, really fun, really cool. Dungeon Dice Monsters, the Game Boy Advance game, very mid. So what I want is Capture Monster Coliseum, which for those who don't know is... Let me get up quick. So we don't specifically want... So there was this PlayStation 2 game. We don't really want this, because this game had a lot of like flaws. This is kind of what it looked like. It's a bit awkward. There was also the TV series, which was pretty bad. This is what I want. If we open this up. Reddit. So this is what I want. I want this. So there was a Game Boy Advanced game that was this. And I want that. So this was the PlayStation 1 game. Where is the Game Boy Advanced version? This is what it looks like. Oh, look at this sprite work. If we open a new tab, look at this. This is it. This is the game I want. Look at how beautiful that looks. How ancient it looks. To be honest, dice game is just a dice game. I mean, fair enough. Yo, hello, Weesh. Welcome. I loved Colosseum. I like Colosseum. I love the idea of Colosseum. My only issue with Colosseum is... Well, that's not quite what we wanted. We can just get a good look at it. Can we find a still of them actually... This shit is ugly, right? Seeing, like, the statues like this is so ugly. I really don't like it. Now, again, that's going to be subjective, right? Some people will like it, some people won't like it. But, like, this looks gross. Instead of this, I want to see my actual monsters on the board moving around, rather than, like, a grey or bronze statue of my guy that I move around the board. Afternoon, hello, James. Welcome. We all want Duelist of the Roses. Duelist of the Roses is fantastic, but I have it already. I own a PlayStation 2 with Duelist of the Roses, so I already have access to that. Never seen this game in my life. Yo, this was the PS2 one. This was the from the original manga. This is what both games are based off of. And then this is the Game Boy Color game, I want to say. This might have been on the Advance. It was either Color or Advance. Based on the graphics, I'm going to assume this was Game Boy Color. I saw a YouTuber play that game. Nice. You're basically explaining Duelist of the Roses. So it's not quite the same. So in Capture Monsters, basically, you start off with everything already on the board. So you have all your whole guys already on the board. You don't have like a deck master like you do in Duelist of the Roses. Instead, you just move these guys around. You don't have a hand of cards like you do in Duelist of the Roses. You can still fuse cards together or fuse pieces together. And there is a thing called an evolution square, which does let them like rank up and evolve. Typically, the cards do have their own stats. Like, as you can see, they all have levels, like level 5, 5, 4, 5, 4 at the top. And at the bottom, you can see level 2, 4, 1, 1, 1. It was a cool idea for a game. I think it was very, like, underutilized. And I would just love to get this, personally. Monsters on the Monsters Visible, which is like monsters on the board. Yeah. PS1 one is the best. Yeah, the PS1 game looks beautiful. Let's have a look. Let's get the PS1 game up. Look at this. Look at that. It's not quite what I was after. Look at that. Look at how nice that looks, especially when compared to this, right? This is like obviously better 3D. It's on PS2 rather than the PS1. But just look at how much nicer these look. They're colorful, they're animated. You can't actually see it here, but these are actually animated. They actually like move around and shit. That's just so much nicer. I want this. This is what I want. I want this in English. That's what I would really, really like to come to the early days collection. That's all I want. If they put any of those games in this, then I'm all the way in. The other thing is, this is the early days collection for Yu-Gi-Oh! And yet every single game in here is Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance. So we haven't seen any PlayStation games yet, which is interesting. They look just as generic. I mean, that is factually inaccurate. You are just wrong. Like, these are colorful, they all look unique, they look interesting, and then these are all, I can barely tell the difference. I mean, these three are exactly the same. But like, just looking at a glance, I couldn't even tell you if these four were remotely different. Obviously, this one is different. This is a perfectly ultimate Great Moth, or just Great Moth, I think it is actually. But, I think it is about time. I think it is about time. We actually played some Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's see where we actually finished up at this point battle. No, we finished 10th. That's not bad considering we dipped like half an hour before it finished. Let's see who won. I have no idea who you are. Prisoner Tomato came second. It's Happy Danny. Considering we dipped quite early, I think we finished quite well there. We shouldn't have clicked that button though. So we will go ahead and leave this room. Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay on my yapping stream? I know, I'm sorry. But what we will do is go ahead and grab a Meeg list. We're going to see how Meeg fares. We're not expecting Meeg to do like super duper well, but I do want to play some games with Meeg because we haven't actually tested it like at all. You can't even tell us those sprites are supposed to be. What do you mean? Right, I need to. How can you not tell what these are? Like, is it not big enough for you? That's a worm. That's a... I mean, that's a monster inside of a mouth, right? It's kind of difficult to tell what it is. That's a bird. That's an alien. This is a snail. This is the same alien. This is a hamster with boxing gloves. This is a chick. And this is an octopus. Yu-Gi-Oh! On my eye candy stream. Take Mono's cog list. Man, we're just going to use this list for now. We're going to see how it does. That's the plan. Reminds me of the Pokemon back during Gen 1 and 2. I kind of like the simpler designs, though. Like, I think it's one thing that people do say is, like, Pokemon's, like, over-designed these days. I don't know if I subscribe to that, personally. I think some of the newer designs look really cool of Pokemon. But, you know, saying that, a lot of my favorite Pokemon are from older generations, so, you know. Okay. I mean, I guess we're just going to do this. We'll set this. I'm actually going to keep this in my hand because if Secret Order gets popped, that really hurts me. So I'd actually rather have one less draw to guarantee it doesn't get popped. No, I mean like when you look at your party, they mostly had generic sprite space. Oh, right. Well, that's kind of how the Game Boy Color ones looked, right? Like this. Like this is exactly what you're talking about. This is little sprites that are kind of hard to see. Although I will say some of these look like a little bit even more detailed than the ones from Pokemon. Draw for turn. We have Meeg in hand. Okay, let's get funky with this then. He has a reaction to my normal summon. What has he got? Does this have to be the Siesta Hold? Has he got Siesta Hold? Or he might have the turtle that like draws cards. We're waiting. We're waiting to see if he's going to respond. Meeg-chan, my beloved. Who is this Meeg-chan you speak of? There is only Mutton here. And she's cute as a button. Flip. Go, secret order. Go, Mutton. Let's go Rage of the Beasts, which just pops like randomly. All set. Go ahead and use Servant of Dawn. We'll boost this up. Go to battle. Swing over. Swing into this. I'm going to just get him for 38. Now, there might be a bit of an issue here. If he summons out an Yggdrago, I'm not sure how we beat it. I'm not convinced we can beat it. Rush Duel needs trap tricks. Not sure I subscribe to that, my friend. Alright, well here is the Chaos Femboy. There's no reason to not activate it. Oh, Mighty Gaze. So does that mean we're not playing Ragnarok? I don't know why you would play Mighty Gaze in this deck. Did we just call it Chaos Femboy? Yes, Chaos Femboy. Does it not look like a Femboy? Come on, Chris. Oh, we are playing Maxim Ragnarok. We're just randomly playing Mighty Gaze. Okay. Outing both of these is not going to be super easy. It's still very doable. Very, very doable. But it's not going to be, like, super free. No TSA? That is an excellent question. There is no TSA. How do we out it? We can make it lose 500 attack. We can summon this out with a bonus 700. We can give it an extra 600 from our skill. I think that's our out, is we do a 3-card combo. Easy, right? Okay. So now we activate Mani. We can reduce by 600. Does that mean I get to keep a boss? Am I not losing one? This fool is also leaving us with Meeg. Okay, so right now he can clear both of these. He can't activate a TSA if he's got one. But it's bad. Are we talking about Cyburst being bad? Is this a reference to where we placed it on the tier list? Why did he attack that one? I'm just saying, this guy is not making a good case for the deck being good. I mean, that's obviously really good. If I want to pop a back row, I'd have to summon. I don't think it's worth it. We could just do that. Bring that out. Go for a big push. Reincarnation. Do we just bring back like a 1500 guy? Is that all we want to do with Reincarnation? That has to send 2 cards from hand to the graveyard, which is something we don't really want to be doing. We could just force him to use some back row. I could just hold on to Meet and Greed. I don't think there's any reason to like slam it down. Since he's got 3 back row as well, I don't even think activating Beasts does much here, so we will just go Secret Order. Bring this out. So if we swing over this, we're looking at 900. Okay, we'll go Reincarnation. We're going to just get rid of Paku Paku Chu. I'm going to bring back Gazelle. This is probably going to force him to use one of his back row. I'm expecting a CS to hold here. Unless he's got like a negate attack down or something. But I don't even think you want to use the negate attack when you could just use the CS to hold. It's got to be hold, right? What else could it be? What else could it be? Maybe he's new to Cyberse? I mean, maybe. Crash the level 4 to play around Meet and Greet? I mean, oh, Trap Hole is a card that exists. That's right. I remember now. I mean, do we just do this and attempt to win the game? Yeah, screw it. Meet and Greet, go! Then sure, we'll activate Servant of Dawn. I don't think it'll make any difference at all. Go! Go again! Go get him! Victory! Do we even save that replay? I kind of want to, because we might not play against another Cyberse, so we'll save that one. Well, 100% win rate with this new Meeg build, guys, just saying. I would have saved Secret Order, not gonna lie. Well, then you wouldn't have won this turn, Manicust. How could you discard that cute little fella? Oh, he's gone now. Also, welcome on in, Sammy. You should try to lethal. I mean, that's kind of what we were thinking, right? Because we knew that his legend was gone, so there was only really one card. I suppose, to be fair, there was more than one card. He could have had, like, Recital, if anyone's even playing Recital these days. Oh no, not Gazelle. Well, it was representing lethal on its own. Hold can only be used if you only have one monster and it's being normaled and it's level 4 or lower. I couldn't tell you, my friend. Hold is a card that I've used maybe once or twice ever. In OCG, it never saw any play whatsoever. That is like such an annoying hand. Okay, we're just gonna do like this, I guess. Alright. So I could have tried the high roll, but I didn't think it was worth the gamble. This is like the safer play. Is that a Chronicle Rare Boltricorn? Oh, I hit my reincarnation, the jerk. I love that he's chronicled Boltricorn. Look at how shiny he is. Alright, Ameagle comes down. What's the next part of the plan? Hole only works on normal summons of 1k or higher. I mean, we know what Trap Hole does. I don't even think Trap Hole works on flip summons, at least not in this game. I don't think so. Well, Cyber Search is down. Go card restoration! Look at all of my cards. Yes. I'll take my 600 life points. And then I will lose 2,900 life points. Okay, we have 2 Rage of the Beasts, which, not like the grand... That's a very funny draw. Alright, I guess we just go double Gazelle. We'll activate the card that he knows we've got in Rage of the Beasts. We'll pop this. And we hit a Chronicle Rare negate attack as well. Very fancy. And we activate Servant of Dawn. I don't think it makes any difference where we put this, so we'll just boost this. Go to battle, we will swing over the Cyber Search, swing over the Boltricorn, and then get in for 1,500 direct damage. And pass the turn. Alright, can Cyber Dragon face down a board of 3 vanillas? Damn, nice hand. Oh, yeah. Now, there's no flip summon rush, so flip doesn't count. There we go. That's what it was. Yeah, because it was like a new ruling, right, that it wasn't actually a thing. Right, he's not still bullying our reincarnation. We at least have that. Okay, there's a Avant Wolf times 2. So you can use the skill, boost Cyber Dragon up to 26, and then double crash? Surely that's not the line. Okay, here we go, here we go. Oh, Golem's pretty good here. I mean, we can't actually break this board. We can clear Golem. Oh no, we can crash, right? How much boost does Servant give us? Is it 7 or 6? 6. So we'd have to crash, but we can just clear this whole board. Guys, I think Meeg's about to make her appearance. Ah, there are so many things we can do here. Let's just do like the easiest. We'll go Secret Order. Summon Meeg. We'll go Secret Order. As we just wait for our opponent to stop disconnecting. We'll bring out Galactica Oblivion. Meet and greed! Send 1. Send 2. Victory! Oh, it's just the power of Miss Mutton. I'm also very impressed that everyone's being very mature and not calling Meet and Greed by its other name that it started to adopt. Alright, game 3. Let's go. All you have to do is get lucky. That's all you have to do. Just don't draw badly. And then everything just goes your way. Right, Yuo Goha. So we're expecting Metarian here. This might be ooh. Other name, what is it? Say it. I'm not saying it. I'll tell you when you're older. Alright, just to draw more cards, we are gonna tribute set this out, and then we're just gonna again hold the Secret Order because I don't want to get popped. Alright, let's see what he's got. I was trying for him to say it. There you go, Serena's got it. Serena knows its other name that started to catch on. It's very Monka indeed. Why would you summon both in attack mode when you know I tribute set one of them? That's a hand. That is a hand. I mean, I have to unbrick this one way or another. And when I say unbrick, I mean we're going to do the very minimum work to unbrick this. Boost this up. Alright, he has traps. So, would you use anything on this? If he had exactly widespread, he couldn't use it. If you had slime, you just wouldn't use it. And if you had negate attack, you definitely think about not using it. If you had kids with Miss Mutton, they'd come out looking like Galleon. And you can't change my mind. You've just, you've like incepted an idea now. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to like unsee that. I think we'd have lovely children, you know. That's why we haven't got the chat on the stream. I mean, to be fair, I don't think we have the hut emote anyway, but we can still have chat on the screen. Look at that. That's all you guys there. You see that? That's you. You're on the telly. Are we about to get absolutely cooked by... Because the issue is, if we don't get lots of normal summons, we can't do much here. What is that second emote? Also, it's a sheep and a ram. I see. Okay. Things aren't looking great for us, lads. What's like worst case here, though? He can flip one down and pop it. That doesn't really matter. Oh, he didn't. We just got double Vitristar. The thing is, no, I suppose you just normal summon, right? Yeah, okay. So now we don't actually take a lot of damage here. We're taking what, 2,000? All things considered, that's not bad. The issue we have here is our hand is very full of crap. Right, we just need to get lucky. I'm gonna go with that was unlucky. I'm pretty sure that was not a very lucky hand we just got there. Why did I get one from Graveyard? Why did I do that? We just like auto did that. Just like without even thinking. I'll tell you, we're gonna summon this. With what he's got on the board, he can't out this. He is using script, right? Did we see him use script? As I scroll back through. That's me. Yeah, he is playing script. So... no matter what we do here, we're kind of cooked. We'll just get rid of one of these. I was like, if he's not playing script, I could just basically force him to not be able to out this. But if he's playing script, there's nothing I can do about it. I'll tell you what, since we already know the game's over, we'll just go next. Realistically, even if we didn't make the misclick, we still weren't winning that game. We just were not winning that game. We drew so badly. Finding, what was that, 5 high-level monsters that early in the game, we weren't winning that game no matter what. That ain't happening. I can send a message. I don't know which words is issue with it. If you're trying to send a URL, that definitely won't work. I can tell you that much. Throwing this down is such a waste. Keeping it in my hand also though feels really bad. Okay, we're gonna do this and just hope we don't get punished. Like slapping this down. So we could just use order, get out Miss Mutton. The issue with like order into Miss Mutton is, one, it gets outed by like anything, right? You could just summon any psychic guy and he'll just clear this. And 2, we'd also be losing an order, which just feels really bad to just piss an order away for no gain. Haha, you hit ground Mutton and you got rid of your own jump check. Okay, Camry D's here. Online classic term of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know what that means. We'll go card restoration here. Oh yeah, give me some more life points. Haha! Right, we'll take our 12. Another order. The issue is, no matter what we do with this, we can't really bully him. Unless we go for, like, a big meet and greet play, which would be funny. I don't think I need to do that. We're probably doing that, right? I can't use this, which is my primary concern. If I could pop that, I would go for that immediately. Okay, let's go for this then. We're going to activate Secret Order. I'm just going to bring her out. We're just not going to get punished, lads. That's just what's going to happen. He's just not going to have anything to stop us. 7 Adorn to boost it up. We're going to drop the Meet and Greed. We're going to send this and this. We're going to target this. Yes, I would like to lower his attack. I'm just going to set this. I'm going to set this. So we played this in a bit of a weird way, but it's because we're worried about his back row. It looks like we had nothing to be worried about. Miss Mutton is the strongest deck. I mean, it's a psychic game as well. We'll take that. We'll definitely take the replay. Maybe the reason Miss Mutton doesn't see much tournament play is just to give the other decks a chance. I completely dominate tournaments if it saw more play. Like Rush Duel or Master Duel. I did try to say that I only use Yu-Gi-Oh! Term. Today is the day we get Yuri Tomato. Well, we're not going to get him today. We're going to get his event. He's not actually going to be out today. Fear is just a choice. All I see is still... We have lost a game, right? We did lose to Matarion. I am saying that, right? We are not undefeated still. Do you think that we will get on Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype like 7 Rogue Magician? What, in like TCG? Do we think in TCG we're going to get Rush Archetypes? Never say never. But I do think it's unlikely. I would really like it to be the case. I think they might do it for like the 5-year anniversary of Rush or something, which is coming up because Rush is 4 and a bit years old now. Cytic's getting beat by the superior deck. Doesn't count. I call bullshit on that. Like I say, never say never. That's my thoughts on the matter. Haha! You cannot defeat my woolly wonderland ground mutton, and it's a second, you fool. Well, there's double Meeg. Meeg's kind of looking nice here, you know. I'm just saying. I guess we'll go rage. We'll just pop something. Let's get rid of that. Boo! We want to hit something really important. All right. We will tribute 1. Tribute 2. Summon out the gal. I think we're probably going to maintain the orders, right? I think we just hold the second Meeg in hand for now. Activate the skill. Boost one of these. Go to battle. Swing. Hold. If we get rid of his negate attack, that's still pretty good. Go again. Go again. Okay, so we know one of these is chainable. That's good to know. Willy Wonderland. Calm down, Manicus, you. Rush dual waifu tier list. You know how hard it would be to find a tier list that had all the waifus in it? TCB incoming? Mate, if he's got TCB, let him have it. We can't beat him, like, otherwise. We can't play around TCB with this deck. We don't have any piercing. We would have to hope that he just left enough guys on the board that me could just, like, kill them all. Fusion, okay. To be fair, now that he's on 2500, we probably can play around it. I think TCG should make an archetype called Rush and make it like Prime, and you put loads of Rush cards in as TCG retrains. That'd be cool. Behold, card restoration! Look at that hand! That is like simultaneously fantastic and really frustrating. Come on, bro! Oh, okay. Secret order. I'm gonna bring out Mutton. Then I'm gonna do this. We're just going for it. We're going for it. We'll tribute this one and this one. Summon out this guy. Then we're gonna activate the secret order he knows about. I could summon from graveyard, but I don't think I want to. Out you come. We'll set. We'll set. Activate our skill. Swing. Go get him, champ! Alright, we forced the negate attack out. We still do technically have 1 copy of Secret Order left. And our back row's kinda nice. So, like, there's a non-0% chance that we just die here. Dude, this hand's ass. Hey, you know, is this okay? Dragius F. Be #1 Heathic. Oh yeah. I will make the tier list with all of the waifus if you make a video on it. April's a bit far away is the only thing. Dean Keto is probably best Rush waifu. I mean... You're not wrong. I don't know how many people would agree, but like, you're not wrong. All Rush cards are special summons and specials that require tributes. You can retrain them. Bruh, he had the NA. Okay, no Ashura. I mean, we knew he had the delay. And like we were saying before, you don't always just NA that first attack, like when he just had the 2 guys out. Because, like, if you have got no follow-up, like, it's not a huge amount of damage that matters, like, too much there. What are we making here? We got to make Dino and then go for the discard to get over the Gear Golem, I guess. But then that just dies to like anything, right? He knows that we have our skill, so he can just boost one of these up to 31 and attack over it. Boom. That's all it takes, guys. That's just how you beat Metarium. What it turns out, Widespread Ruin's kind of good. Who would have thought it, you know? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Sheep tier 1. That is a statement. That's certainly a statement. Another Mutton dub. Dion, she a keeper. She remind me with Girl in Prison School anime. If anyone watch it, Prison School. I don't think I've watched a Prison School anime. I'm trying to think now. Now, what the fuck? He's on 2 dinos. Is he copying CT's list? CT. I'm trying to think who CT is now. Act. Oh, Act. Right. I mean, probably. It's one of those things where I feel like most people now are cutting Dino unless they are playing Fusion Deal still and they want to play like the other cards. Then it has like more value. Basically, Brush Stuff is kind of like Yosenju Kamas. Sheep tier 1. Best meta with Meatloaf is free. I mean... Sure? Alright, let's jump into another game. Let's see if we can keep this Mutton train going. See if we can build up some sort of streak. Bear in mind, again, we did have a loss earlier, so our streak is, you know, already broken. But we're going to start a new streak. Easy peasy. Jonuichi-kun playing Yuo. So is this going to be another Metaria? We're on our 2-win streak. Let's keep this going. That's a hand. Another normal? No normal. Okay. Well, we'll just play some cards down. Not a very exciting turn 1, but, you know, a turn 1 nonetheless. Uh-oh. How do people do this, by the way? I play a decent chunk of Metarian. I never just open like an Ashura Star, like just straight up. I'm always missing something. There's always some piece of the puzzle not there. And every time I play against it, they're like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. I hit the 1500 as well. Watch him attack with the 14 and thus not get punished. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Feels bad, man. Okay, let's see what we draw here. Why do we keep drawing these hands, brother? Okay, we can do that. I guess we do this line then. Wait, we don't even have... we have double meet and greet. We don't have any way to stop his back row. Okay, we go Reincarnation. We'll discard meet and greet. We'll grab back Planiao. We will then summon Gazelle. Summon Planiao. Then activate it. Grab this back. We'll go ahead and tribute 2. Summon out the boy. Then I'll activate Secret Order. Bring out the girl. Set this. Activate the skill. Boost it up. Go to battle. Swing with this one because I desperately need that thing just to be gone. And then we'll swing with this one where you can activate trap cards. You didn't have any anyway. Okay. Mutton, Ancient Gear Golem set. Widespread is not bad. Although if he gets another Ashura, he will know where Widespread is. But at the very least, if he pops Widespread, then he's not killing me with type change beam combo. So, like, that's a trade-off I'm willing to take. So, we've hard-drawn Actor and Serpainter and Fusion again. So, bro is just hard-drawn. just a Fusion natty twice. I don't know how people can do this. Am I just, like, unlucky or am I just bad? It's got to be something. Alright, well there goes Gear Golem. Metarian script! Oh, do not tell me you have a reactor in hand. Okay, just straight to battle? Okay, bro. Here comes the widespread. I need a 900 attack monster to win the game. Watch us not draw one. Bro, we were close. We'll drop the secret order as well. We got to at least do a little bit of style. Victory again! Metarion bad! Meeg-chan good! Oh, bro, we'll keep taking him. We'll keep taking him. Well, he's cooked. Easy. I mean, apparently, the out to just Metarion is just play Widespread Ruin. Now, don't get me wrong, we've known this for a while. Widespread Ruin is absolutely fantastic in this current metagame. But just the last 2 games has absolutely rinsed the Metarion opponents we've been against. Absolutely rinsed them. The only issue with Widespread is it is so mid into Secret Order decks. And Galaxy is so good. I guess on ladder, though, we're not really seeing much Galaxy. Oh boy, another Metarion. Maybe this won't be Metarion. Maybe this is just like fusion deal good stuff, right? You never know. Well, this is a hand. We've got double Mutton. Starting out defensive. 3, 4. Keeps a card in hand. Jesus. Well. I mean, we can't leave all 3 of this in the open, so we have to start summoning them somehow. Behold, Mutton. There's no point to reveal our skill. Go get him, champ. And then we pass. I started counting the Meegs in your hand and fell asleep. I mean, that's quite impressive to fall asleep at only 3. Alright, so that telegraphs reactor. There it is. Activate. So, bro has how many cards? He's got 8, 9, 10 cards. And we had just a lonely Miss Mutton. Guys, I think we're dead. I have an inkling that we're dead. If we're not dead, I don't know how we've gotten away with this. But we're starting to look more and more like we are actually dead. So here comes the Ashura Star. Now, Ashura Star right now doesn't do anything. It's just a 2800 guy. Summon. There we go. All right, so he needs any normal summon. He is 400 life points off of killing me. No shit, he kills without TCB? Oh, yeah. He's gonna kill us. He needs any normal now. Like, even a actor kills us. There it is, lads! Alright, we'll let him kill us. This is going in the video. This is definitely going in the video. And unfortunately, just as quickly as we've been winning, we get a loss. Choose my game mat. Oh boy. So, Shari, what game mat are you looking for? Tomato, you're gonna enjoy the deck I play tomorrow for Cloudy's Meme Weekly. What is Cloudy's Meme Weekly? Is that a rush thing or is that a speed thing? Tristan April format. I think we actually have that. Of all the weird mats that people are like, could you use this one? And I'm like, I don't have it. You want this one? Attack of the Tristans. And now we must use this until Ray shows up again and takes our mat off. Holy shit, that was a 5 card, no? Probably. It was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was a 7 card combo that like killed us in total. With like 3 cards left over. Because he did have 10 cards to work with. Yeah. I guess we just chill. Nah, just Cloudy regular Rush tournament, but I'm gonna turn it into a meme. Okay, I'm down. Oh, I hit the best card! All things considered, this could have been a lot worse. We will use this though, because I want to draw an extra card. Would you look at all them meegs? That's a good looking hand. Another order. Don't know that order really does much here. We'll summon. Flip over Rage of the Beasts. Hit this. He's playing... So he's playing Sidra. I think I want to empty my hand, is the issue. Because if I set order, there's a good chance it just gets popped. And if I don't get Princess out of my hand, then I just have to hold onto it for an extra turn. As much as I don't want to use the second order, because I don't want to just run out of order, I think leaving both in my hand is suicide. If I set it, there's a high chance it just gets popped anyway, so there's no point in holding onto it. So the downside here is that if he just summons out a twin, he basically clears my whole board for free. The upside is we can out a twin quite easily. We just need to find our last copy of Order, or we just need to find another copy of Pakupakuchu. Like, there's a lot we can do to out a twin. Outing an end, that's a bit trickier. Calling Mutton Princess is cringe. What? What are you talking about? She's a princess. It says right there, Manakist. Honestly. Why? Why didn't he attack? He could have just attacked this one. Ah, the temptation. What is his back row? I think we're just going to do this. We're going to go 7 to Dawn. We're going to boost one of these up. Then we're just going to set 3. This forces him to have something. And worst case scenario, this is a good follow-up for next turn. Okay, Buffered Slime is completely fine. We do not care. We still get 2,000 damage in. Yeah, you're supposed to call her wife instead. Alright, there's another one. Maybe he knows you can't do anything without order, so doesn't want to fuel it. Yeah, but just attack the Gazelle then, and get in for 1,500 damage. ETTD. Behold! I mean, we have lethal on board. You can scoop, you're allowed to, it's fine. I won't hold it against you. Leave you space to summon another one with order? I mean, true, but we would then have to find order and a level 7. And again, we have a skill that just lets us beat over anyway that he did see before, so he already knew we had it. Like, it's not like he didn't know what skill we were on. Oh, is this a close the app? This is a thrown the phone out of the window game. I mean, a lot of our wins are just kind of widespread ruin wins. I don't even know if we can really call them Meeg wins. We're just playing widespread ruin the deck. Well, we'll save that one as well for now. We might delete that one if we get a better Cyber Dragon replay. How are we back to this song again? We haven't gone through every song. We haven't been streaming that long, and yet somehow we're back to this song. I mean, it's a good song, so I'm not, like, upset with it. I'm just like, what's going on with this? Okay. Fuyu from Japan, playing Yuo Goha. Shocker. With a Yuo skill. Shocker. Let me guess, 6 cards in the extra? Shocker. Why does this keep happening? This is so funny. I mean, yeah, we're gonna summon it. Because, like, again, I can't just sit here with this as my hand. I want to point out, we played against a Yuo earlier, and we had this exact hand. Well, you know, it was 3 Miss Mutton and 2 normal summons, and we got OTK through it. Now this time, our opponent doesn't have the luxury of going first, so he's going to have 5 less cards to kill us with. But this is still not looking great. This is really not hard to out. Maybe he just won't have a fusion. Maybe he just won't be able to fuse on turn 1. But only time will tell. Alternate win con? Alternate win con. Hold. Hold. And that is how you win a game when you open 3 Meek-chans. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. I mean, we'll take it. Unfortunately, building up the streak again is still going to require a bit of effort, but getting a streak with Meeg in general, so I'm just quite happy with. Alright, let's see who our next opponent is. Are we going to find yet another Matarian player? That is the question. It's Noel from the United Kingdom. Let's see what bro is up to. It's Yuo Goha. Who would have thought? Yuo Goha playing with a Yuo Goha skill. With 6 cards in the extra. Okay. Alright, let's see what our opponent has for us. Is it going to be something spicy, or is it going to be the most generic open of all time? He's setting, which tells me he probably doesn't have a fusion to go. Empties the whole hand. No real surprise there. Then we are going to use script. Just going to, what, dump actor? Okay. Draw for turn. I mean, this is fine, I suppose. Tribute 1, Tribute 2. Summon. We'll flip this up. We are going to normal summon Planial. We're going to set 2. We're not going to bother using our back row hate because I want him to have less chance of hitting our good trap. I mean, that is clearly a delay. So he has a delay. He's choosing not to use whatever he's got back there. So, I mean, slime or... I guess it could be widespread. It's probably more like negate attack. If it was slime, you 100% don't use it there. Oh, is he going to try for it? Is he going to try for the OTK? Look at my 3 warriors. you at this man farming content for our amusement. That's just how it goes. Okay, okay. So we grab back the reactor. We can then summon the reactor, mill 2, get the double draw, which gives him 8 cards to work with. He's milled all of his type change beams now, so he's completely out of TCBs. All 3 are in the bin. Summons out the Sword Dancer. Activates the fusion. We're going to be performing a Yugo Shokan. And out comes Mitarian Overlord. Bro, come on. That was blind. He had no information. He just snipes it. 33%. I mean, I guess it's fine, but like, that still does suck. That was so much in our favor to be working out, especially since we know he has something in that back row he can still use. Although we do have double rage, so we should be fine. We can just pop both of them. And then what? I mean, not much after that, to be honest. We'll go Gazelle. We go Rage. We pop this. We go Rage. We pop this. It was both! It was both traps! Okay. That works out quite well for us then. There's no reason to not just throw this on whatever. We're beating over everything anyway. Is this... How much damage I've actually got here? If I was to swing over that, that would be 24. Which unfortunately is not lethal. Yeah. We just clear this. We'll clear this. We'll clear this. Now the downside is, he has put his reincarnation back in the graveyard. So if he draws one of his other 2 copies of Reactor, he does just get an extra... Yeah, there we go. He just, for free, just gets an extra pot of greed. Because drawing 4 cards for free... Definitely not overpowered, bro. Definitely not overpowered. Bro has activated Pot of Greed twice. I'm playing the silly sheep deck. I'm just saying. We are not the same. So all of his TCBs are gone. So we can't get type change beamed out of the game. Chances are he's just going to pop our back row. Which doesn't really matter. Like, he's stopping us gaining a tiny amount of life points and stopping us from drawing 1 card. So, like, that's fine. Why are we playing this trap again? What, the card restoration? It's a good trap. It's a good card. What if you were playing the deck? What do you mean? You mean his deck? No, we don't play that deck. His deck's lame because it has TCB in it. That's how it works. If it doesn't have TCB, it's based. If it has TCB, it's lame. You gonna start messing with my graveyard? There's no reason to. You can if you want. Right, there goes Restoration, which is fine. So Restoration's pretty good because you can activate it whenever. So it doesn't, it's not restricted like Slime where you can't use it on fusion attacks. Sometimes it will save your life, and sometimes it's just a +1. And a +1 can be really good, especially in a deck like this, where, for example, we have Meat and Greed, which requires 2 discards. We play a lot of high-level monsters. So unfortunately we can't use Paku Paku because we still have Gazelle. Buy Predaplants. You'd like that, wouldn't you? We can just clear his board, actually. How much damage could we get in? We can go 32 plus 6, 38, 1,000. Now that's not going to cut it, unfortunately. I guess we'll just do this. Tribute 1, Tribute 2, Summon, Activate Order. Bring back Princess of the Flock, Miss Mutton. And we'll use Servant of Dawn. We'll boost this one. Go to battle. Swing over that. Get out of my face. Swing over that. Get out of my face. Swing over that. And then, bro, your deck's looking a little bit thin over there. You've got to really try and kill me soon. And you can't TCB wombo combo me out of the game. So you might struggle to do so. I think someone might just be running out of steam. Star restart. Okay. Puts a card back into the deck. That could be relevant. Summons back Imaginary Actor. Grabs back Fusion. Okay. But where do we go from here? Is the next question. Okay. Painter, Fusion, making Vitristar. Buy Predaplants. We're not buying Predaplants. So the Predaplants I really like as well are the Fusion. The one that lets you sacrifice your opponent's monsters that have Predator counters on them. And the Pendulum ones. They're the ones that I'm really into for Predaplants personally. Okay, time to go. It's locals time. Good luck in ranks, Tomato, and have a good day. Everyone, see you, Sakadetsu. Hope your locals goes well. I mean, don't we just, like, win with anything here? I'm bringing back the Meeg. I don't care if it's, like, arguably worse, or if we could have done anything else. We always summon Meeg. Boost Meeg! Meeg, go! Go, Gazelle! Meeg, finish him! That's all it takes. Is there a deck out deck in Rush so far? So there is not like a mill deck. We'll save that one as well. But that is a lot of replays for that one deck now. We really, really don't need any more replays for Matarian. Which means if we, for whatever reason, drop our streak, we're going to start scooping against any Matarians we find. Because again, we're here to farm replays. But also having a streak is really funny, so we're going to try and keep the streak. Thank you for the follow, Gandia. Welcome, welcome. Oh, our goal seems to have been messed up a little bit here. Can we fix that? That's the next question. If I end that goal, and then if we start a new goal, aha, behold. Behold. And we also got Spearhead draw, which is nice. Tier 0 deck. Nani? Did you play in the last Challenger Cup? Yes. Yes, I did. I lost in the second round of the Challenger Cup due to timeout. So there was nothing I could really do about that, which did kind of suck. Is there a mill deck? No, there isn't really a mill deck. It's not really a thing. It would be more likely to be a thing in Duel Links than anywhere else. It's the reason I don't like Challenger Cups. Challenger Cups, in my opinion, are ass. For me, they are a meme. I don't really take them seriously because of the time rules. Which, again, is going to be different from player to player. But I never like it in any kind of tournament where I feel like people meta the shit out of the time rules and they'll start slow playing because, you know, time's running out and I'm ahead, so I'm just going to start slow playing. And I've never liked, you know, oh, we can change our decks willy-nilly because it's too hard to police not doing that. So we're going to just play burn in game 3. I never liked any of that stuff. Oh, well, this isn't looking good, is it? I mean, I can't do anything, so we just hope. We just hope. But you can ask a judge once your opponent starts slow playing. The problem is, I've done that before, where my opponent was slow playing, and I did call a judge, and the judge didn't show up for 10 minutes, and then didn't give a shit. So, they're kind of shit. Realistically, the staff they have there have too much work to do, and don't do their job properly anyway. But I do still have like sympathy for them because they have too much shit to do, realistically. I can't do anything. I think we're just dead. We can't keep this in hand because we're just dead if we do. So all we can do is hope he slams into this one. If he doesn't, we're dead. I mean, again, I don't want to like call them out, right? I don't want to call like the judge out by name or anything, but it was a clown fiesta, realistically. That's just how it goes, right? Yeah, welcome to Duel Links tournaments. That's the thing though, because I don't think I would care if I didn't play in other community run events. Like the Grand Prix, Quantum Dailies, the Rush Duel Links Weekly, all of these are run in just such a better way. Like they are just far superior in like every way compared to the CC. We are in ads. So I'll try and put the discussion on hold until the ads end in case anyone has been caught up in them. I think we're going to keep Mutton in hand here. Now, we might get punished for this. We'll see what happens. Well, you can't compare Grands and Quantum's tournaments with that because they've been doing that for years. I mean, that's fair enough. That is an absolute fair enough point. But the issue I have with Konami run events is I feel like they try to do the absolute bare minimum. Which, again, I can't blame them for because the alternate requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of effort, right? If you want to, for example, make sure nobody's cheating, you now need to have people checking constantly to make sure nobody's cheating, right? That, for example. So, like, it's not easy. It's not an easy problem to solve. And again, I don't begrudge them for it. It's just very noticeable and apparent when you're used to doing the alternate, right? So, like, I don't know. That's how I see it. Go to battle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's exactly the same as the KC Cups and GRFs. Some people love them, and more power to them. I don't want to take that away from anyone else. If anyone else loves those type of events, that's completely fine. You're allowed to love it. It's not a bad thing that you love it. I'm not saying you're wrong for enjoying it. That's lovely. I personally, I don't like it when I feel like the rules are bad, and the reason the rules are bad is because it would take a lot of effort to make it good. Which again, would you rather have an entire event that can be run by effectively one guy that's fully automated, or would you rather have an event that requires, you know, mod calls to be answered, deck checks, make sure nothing's going wrong. Oh, something bugged out. We need to now fix it because it doesn't count because the server disconnected, or did you get the spectator bug and all of that stuff, right? It's a lot harder to sort those kind of problems out, but that's the extra mile that like the community run events go to, right? Also, I don't know if judges get paid for doing that job in the first place, because if not, you rely a lot more on the judge being a thorough person with his work. Yeah, and again, the judges also probably are just doing it, again, if they're getting paid, I guess that's one thing, do your job kind of thing. If they're not getting paid, how could you have any animosity towards someone who is just there doing it out of pocket, just spending their day to make sure that you try and have a good time? Like, you can't be mad at that. You can't. Which is why I don't begrudge other players for slow playing. I don't begrudge the judges for getting stuff wrong. I don't like the actual rules of the tournament themselves. That's what I don't like. I don't like the Konami executive that has decided that those are the rules and that is how we're running things, and I just don't like those rules. So, like, there's no point in getting, like, aggro at anyone because it's not going to solve anything, is it? Not realistically. Well, there's another win. We'll take that. Problem I had Sunday was the timer should have been 40 minutes, not 30. Had game 1 of a match go for 14 minutes, which was half of the allotted time. Then game 3, I win on time, and my opponent gets upset because of it. It's just one of those things, right? Realistically, if you're playing in a tournament that has time rules, you should be taking advantage of the time rules because it's not against the rules to do so, right? If you are allowed to change your deck, then you should change your deck to something that will better help you with the time rules, right? It makes sense. It's logical. I can't be upset with someone because they're playing the game as intended, right? It's just, I don't like time rules personally. And there's a whole other debate about time rules because I think it was MBT put out a video a while ago being like, time is good. You can see some really interesting side deck options. You got to play around the timer. And I get that. I'm just not about that. That's not what I play Yu-Gi-Oh! For. Even through KCCs are more automated, like you said. It's not like we don't have clown fiestas like the last one. I mean, exactly. But at the same time, I can be as vocal as I want about how much I don't like them and about how many problems there can be brought up with them. But there are still a ton of people that play in them, absolutely love them, like really enjoy it, really are happy with the accomplishments they get from it. And I don't want to take that away from anyone. I don't want anyone to even think I'm like trying to devalue their accomplishments or anything, or devalue their experience. The thing with Challenger Cups is they do not have real judges for these events. The people that host Challenger Cups are a separate company from Konami. They're called Break Flip, and they're from France, so they never really had to deal with these kind of things because they usually do not occur very often at these events. For example, I never had that happen to me when I played 20 Challenger Cups for Duel Links and Master Duel. It's still unfortunate when it happens. Nothing can be done about it when it's word against word. Exactly. And again, I can't fault them for not wanting to deal with bullshit, because dealing with bullshit is hard, it's annoying, it takes time. You would have multiple like judges and moderators around to deal with it. It's a headache, and there's not really a good answer to it. In my opinion, what I would love to see happen, which is never going to happen, but what I would love to see is the community tournament host that we have to get sponsored and just run Konami events. I think that would be fantastic. To me, that's best of both worlds. People that I really like that are running these events get, they get comeuppance, right? They get what they are earned, what they are due. They people who have basically been supporting the game for such a long time and do a really good job at it could get rewarded for doing so. And I think that would be really, really good. And for the community, I think it's just a better experience. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. You can't blame players for utilizing all aspects of the rule as if they were not exceeding the rules. Yeah, exactly. I can't get mad at someone for slow playing because they should be slow playing if they want to win. As long as they're not slow playing to a ridiculous degree, right? As long as they're not breaking the rules, as long as they are within the rule set, do what you want, right? Oh, this is a well-known Japanese player that we're playing against here. We're probably going to lose this one. Still using rules meticulously is a different story. I mean, yeah, it's arguably like, I mean, I don't want to call it scummy. That's the wrong word. It's a bit cheap, I guess. TLDR, Tomato hates Konami. I hate Konami events. I will stand on that hill. It all comes down to what he's got in hand. Right, I'm going to summon Gazelle. If this is the deck I think it is, I'm going to go for this line, and we'll see what he does. So this could be, because he's only got 3 in extra, this is likely to be the Dragius Fusion deck. Okay, considering this board though, this is now a little bit less likely to be the Dragius Fusion deck. This is probably Blaster's Inferno. So we'll go card Restoration here. Unfortunately, we're only going to have 1 beast in graveyard, so we're not going to get to fully utilize Paku Pakuchu. And we've also lost a lot of life points, which against this deck specifically can get a bit spooky. Meat and Greed is funny. Summon. Tribute for that. Use that, get that out. Okay, we'll go summon Paku. Summon Gazelle. Can boost him up. If we just assume his back row is nothing, we have... No, we don't. We don't. No, we do have a lethal. No, we don't have a lethal line, so I'd have to discard that first. Ugh. So we just don't go for the meat and greed play, but do everything else, I guess? Alright, in which case we're doing Rage of the Beasts either way. That's a good hit. Tribute 1, Tribute 2. Secret Order. We can't use this because we have to discard 2 cards. That was the issue that we were running into there. Oh, no, would it have been lethal? Would have been 23-23. No, I think we just missed lethal. So it would have been 23-20. We would have had an extra 15. I think, no, it would have been just shy of lethal, I think. I'm pretty sure it's just shy of lethal. But it would have been more damage. Well, there goes Golem. What he says correct, but I don't think Konami gives a shit for anything other than profit. So having Master Duel players advertise the game for them gives them more chances at plays and profits. For us that already play, we would all want people to grow Grand and Quantum so the events doesn't grow. I mean, yeah, basically, right? It's one of those weird things as well where some of the hosts for... Oh, there's a secret order. That's kind of spooky. Some of the hosts for the Challenger Cups are fantastic. And some of them just sit there and rag on Rush the entire time. That's not a lot of life points gained. I mean, we weren't dead either way, right? We were only taking 34. It was 6-1 with Gazelle? Okay. So we did miss the lethal then. Activate, bring that back. Use that, discard, swing, swing. So we go order. Bring out Mutton. Then we summon Planiao. Use its effect. Grab Meat and Greed. Yeah, I got a gate of life points. We'll go Meat and Greed. We will send this. And we will send this. Give this the boost. Normal summon. Set. Go to battle. Swing. Swing. Mutton does not care. Mutton defeats all. Our win rate with this deck is actually kind of silly. Like, it's not like absolutely insane, but like we've been winning a lot more than I thought we were going to. Let's put it that way. I really expected this to be like a, oh man, this is going to be such an uphill struggle just all day. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. But yeah, my takeaway from Challenger Cups is I always leave them feeling like I have been slighted, right? I always feel, whenever I finish a Challenger Cup, I always feel like I lost for reasons that were kind of bullshit. Because again, in my Challenger Cup history, I have literally never dropped a game outside of time and one game where I lost to Gonchi. Gonchi absolutely destroyed me. Every single other loss I've ever had in a Challenger Cup was a time limit loss. And again, there is maybe some correlation there, right? If I'm in all of those games where there's a time limit loss, maybe I'm the one that's playing too slowly. But typically, I'm playing faster than my opponents in those games. This hand is ass. Okay, let's see what we go here. So at least, like, from my perspective, I don't think I was playing too slowly. Maybe I was. I can't, like, unless I timed myself, right, and, like, went back and watched the replays, I couldn't actually tell you if I was. But from my perspective, I was playing quite quickly, my opponents were playing quite slowly, and then I got, you know, game losses because of it. In one case, my opponent stopped playing like 2 minutes before the round was up and was like, oh, that's time on the round. And then I'm like, no, no, it's not. And then the judge was there and was like a minute later, they were like, oh yeah, no, the time isn't up yet, keep playing. And I'm just like, I've just lost a minute of my 2 remaining minutes waiting for the judge to respond. It was just, it's just irritating. It's just irritating. LK bullying RRF since the dawn of time. I mean, yeah, to be fair, I can't defend myself. Gonchi absolutely destroyed me. It was not even close. That was the only game, like I say, literally the only game I've dropped in a Challenger Cup. Other than that, we've just clean swept every single opponent. Ah, don't pop my widespread as well, you jerk. I'm bricked up. I've already bricked. You don't need to pop my widespread as well. And empty your... Oh, come on. I don't think we're winning this one, lads. I think this is going to be a roughie. So he can just use the skill and boost over, so I have to answer this. Yeah, we'll just get through his 3 back row. He'll just have nothing. Don't worry about it, guys. There is nothing to worry about. All of his back row is all bluffs. Boost this up. Go to battle. Swing him. Guys, I don't think we're going to kill this. I have a feeling that we are going to die when he flips over a trap card. Yeah. Rip. Rip indeedy. Now that you mention it, Manicist, who won? Because we played... Did we play against each other in Colosseum last season? I literally cannot remember. And if we did, I don't remember who won either. I remember we dropped one game, and I think it was the only game where I couldn't play. As in, like, the only week I couldn't participate. But I don't remember if that was against Latin Kings or not. I just want to use my traps. I just want to... I mean, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, right? I could gain a maximum of 1,000, and it would not be enough to survive. Alright, well that was an unfortunate game, but again, if we open brick, there's not much we can do. We don't dwell on it, we just go next. Mixheart. Another Luke. We've been... Is this 3 Luke back to back to back? What is going on? 2 of them are playing the same list. We'll see if Mixheart is also playing the same deck. No extra, so the chances are quite high. What is the open going to be? Also, didn't someone redeem something earlier and we just like completely missed it? I seem to have like a vague memory of someone using a... Yeah, choose my game map by Serena. Is Serena still about? We'll go Reactor. We'll activate Reactor. We'll go Gazelle. I'm going to tribute both. Summon. Set this. Set this. We are going to activate our skill. I also do not remember which one of these, because I wasn't paying any attention whatsoever. I guess I could find out, right? Set. Tribute set to set a monster. And then sets a monster afterwards. Okay, so it should be this one. Boop. Really? It was Fire Guardian. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Fire Guardian. I mean, does that mean it's more likely Blaster's Inferno? I guess it is more likely Blaster's Inferno. Uses Esso. Okay, so this is definitely Blaster's Inferno. I don't know why we're so all in. We're playing Black Dragon's Chick because it's another level 7 that we can summon using Secret Order, I would imagine. But then if we're doing that, I don't know why we would be playing the level 6s. Because now you're just adding in extra bricks. Because theoretically the deck runs 3 to 4 level 7s, and now you've just put an extra, theoretically, 3 more in. I'm going to try to stream snipe Tomato. You can give it a go. Another Dragon's Inferno. Bro, could you please stop? And there's Secret Order as well. Are we just dead? We're not dead, but it's not looking good. Yep. Ow. How have we played against this deck 3 games in a row by 3 different people? We got 2 Meegs, so I guess we always do just do this. Paku Paku Chu. Activate Paku's effect. We will put Gazelle back into the deck. We'll add Meeg back to hand. We'll summon Tribute 1, Tribute 2, summon out Meeg, activate Secret Order, bring back Meeg, set, activate, boost, go to battle, swing over. Oh, are you kidding? He had all of that? He had all of that. And he also drew the negate attack. Bruh. So now for free, he gets to use his skill, take back the Dragon's Inferno, pop our legend, boost the attack up, clear one of our guys. Ugh. I did stream snipe you before. By the way, other fact I love about Rush Duel, they learn a lesson about the ban list by using the limited 3 about cards that are limited. That way you impact less the archetype deck, just preventing abuse of strange deck list that could be powerful. I mean, yeah. Oh, is that exactly 11? Bro, come on. That makes me so sad. He just found exactly though. Do we save that one? I think we do. We'll save that one. But that is us done for replays, so we don't actually need any more. I think this might actually be a good place to actually just call this. We farmed all the replays we wanted. We've got quite a lot done today. We were taking a look at this, but more importantly, we did get our tier list done. I'm still quite happy with this. I'm not like 100% convinced, but I think this top bit, 1, 2, and 3, I think this is perfect. Down here is where it starts to get a bit funky. But I think this top bit is like immaculate. I think I'm quite happy with that realistically. But that is going to be it for today. We will be back again on Thursday, where we will be entering in the Angel Cup. Of course, you would end with actually that. We just finished getting our replays, and I've got other stuff I've got to do today. Usually we would keep going for another 20 minutes, but again, it's only 20 minutes early. It's not going to be the end of the world. For example, I'm pretty sure I could have Dragon on MD with that system of ban. I mean, definitely could do. The ban system is quite interesting in Duel Links in general. But we will be back again on Thursday, where we will be entering in the Angel Cup. Then when we scrub out of it, we will then just be commentating the rest of the tournament. And then I'm not sure what we're going to do after. Probably try and farm replays for something else. I'm not entirely sure. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.